3 games over 500. El Screecho on Cinco de Mayo. Nats and the Braves, game 2 of the series. Just had to show you that, folks. Bob Carpenter, Rob Dibble. Now, the Nats do have some young talent on this ball club. Sometimes you'll see the good, the bad, the ugly. They all go together. But the bottom line on Bernardina and Desmond, they went 4 for 8 last night and drove in 3 runs.
Yeah, and they're going to make some mistakes. They're young. They're trying to impress people. They're trying to make some plays. And early in the ball game, especially in the first inning, Roger Bernardina tried to make a play before it got to him. He tried to make the catch then a little bit later, gets a great jump on the ball, picks up some speed and makes a great play, and then Youth is served right here, hustles down the first baseline, and he makes a great play, and a run comes in, and we needed that insurance run a little bit late. Earlier in the game, Ian Desmond had some trouble on a ball. He was out of position and made a great throw, he thought, right by Adam Dunn, but then he came back great defensively, and then with the stick was even more impressive. That was the go-ahead run at the time. So, you know, sometimes, Bob, you're going to have guys trying to make plays as younger players, and as they get more entrenched in the game and they get a little bit more mature, maybe they don't make those mistakes. Maybe they don't drop a ball here, throw a ball away there. But fundamentally, these guys are playing some great baseball right now and really helping the Nationals win some ball games.
Now, we've said this many times over the last couple of years. It's an organization of opportunity for young pitchers. Luis Adelano has embraced his opportunity so far.
Oh, absolutely. And this is a guy that, you know, he's not going to beat you on pure stuff, but you know what? He's got a lot of pride, and he's a pitcher. And so he's going to challenge you with his heart, and I love that about Adelano. He's going to come right at you.
And he gets to work with a fellow countryman. That is Pudge Rodriguez. He's hitting over 400. His on-base percentage is up in the 470 range. 11 multi-hit games, but he's brought energy, smiles, and a lot of discipline to this baseball team. Baseball on Masson, brought to you in part by Jaguar. Visit your local Jaguar dealer to experience the 2011 Jaguar XJ. Couldn't be a better night for a baseball game, especially with the Nats playing well. The homestand is off to a good start. They're taking on the Braves again in Game 2 tonight. Atlanta hitting only .238, 12th in the league. Near the bottom in runs and in home runs. Jason Hayward, though, doing his job. He not only leads rookies with 24 RBIs, overall he's third in the National League in that department. And he hit a monstrous home run here last night that gave him a 5-game hitting streak. Luis Adelano, 3 earned runs in 12 innings of Major League work so far. Not a lot of strikeouts, just a couple, 5 walks. But, Rob, he's been able to make some big pitches at big times, especially in start number 2 at Wrigley Field last week.
And that's the key. Make the pitches when you have to. You're going to get into trouble sometimes, especially since you don't know the hitters that well.
First pitch of the game is just outside. We're underway at 7:06. Braves are 11-15. 11 of those 15 losses on the road. That's in there, a ball and a strike to Nate McLouth, hitting just a .176. He doubled in the first inning last night and then walked in the third. He was 1 for 4. And of course, Luis Adelano, Rob will tell you in a minute, has a bit of a history with the ball club he's facing tonight, even though it was not at the major league level. And a 2-1 pitch, way outside. 24 years of age. He'll have a birthday 5 days from now. 6'2", 218 from Santurce, Puerto Rico. Not even close, and he walks the leadoff man. It's hard to stop a train. Visit trainsearch.com to locate an independent train dealer near you. They bring us our game time weather. Gorgeous. 75 degrees, clear skies. And we have a breeze blowing out to left field tonight. Martin Prado steps in as the 8th leading hitter in the National League at .337. McLouth doesn't run much. He has a short lead. Braves, not much of a running team. 11 stolen bases in their first 26 games.
Well, and as we saw down in Florida with Josh Johnson, when he didn't get a lot of early calls in the ballgame, he made the proper adjustments on the umpire, and he brought the ball back over the plate. And Adelano's got to do that quickly here in the first inning.
Breaking ball up and in. He did that by pounding the strike zone with his hard stuff.
Even though he did have good off-speed stuff, he didn't care. He was like, okay, you know what? I'm not going to get the strikes. Here it is. I'm going to throw 95, 96. Let's see if he can hit it. And unfortunately, we weren't able to hit it.
Mets lost at Cincinnati in 10 innings today by a score of 5-4. So New York is 15-13. And the Nats could move past them into second place with a possibility of a first-place tie by the end of the night. Phillies hosting St. Louis again. That fastball is up and in, 2-1. 12-year veteran Eric Cooper has the plate. Bill Miller, Chad Fairchild, and the crew chief Mike Riley on the bases. The Nats are 8-6 at home, 6-7 against the East. The Braves against this division, 1-6 so far. Adelano's all over the place, and Pudge wants to talk to him. When he's missing, he's not even close.
He might be a little bit too pumped up right now.
And Steve McCaddy, some early concern. So the Mets, with the Nats, now a game back of the Phillies, falling to 15-13 in that game at Philly tonight. Brad Penny, 3-1 for St. Louis. Kyle Kendrick, 0-1 for Philadelphia. And the Marlins are home again. Nate Robertson takes on Barry Zito. Giants, Marlins, just getting started. Man, it sure feels good not to be holding up the rest of the division these days. That's a heavy load. 3-1 pitch, and he gets a pop-up. Out behind second. Under it is Adam Kennedy for the first out. That's a big out for Adelano as Rob scouts the young right-hander.
Well, and that's the one thing we're going to talk about, the escape artist. When guys are on base, he works well. He gives up bases empty. They're hitting 304 off of him, but when they get on, the clamp down is the 167 batting average against. And he once was a Brave. Traded back in 06 for Darrell Ward. And that was 21 days after he had Tommy John surgery. So the Nationals saw something back then, Bob.
Runner goes, Pudge, perfect throw, out! At second base was Nate McLouth. And Pudge Rodriguez guns out his second runner of the year on a picture-perfect rifle. down to second base.
Well, McLouth gets a great jump right there, but you know what? Pudge is a Hall of Famer, quick release, and McLouth knew he was dead. Look at that. Just stands up, chucks it perfectly, and the quick tag right there by Desmond, and there you go. 2 quick outs after it looked like it was going to be a rough inning.
And a strike to Chipper Jones. Their leadoff man now 1 for 3 in stolen bases. And the base is empty with 2 outs and a 1-1 coming. Off speed, a beauty. By the way, Orlando Cabrera, the Reds shortstop, hit a walk-off homer to beat the Mets today in the 10th. Chipper hitting just .222 and .204 from the left side. Had a couple of hits and a walk here last night. Adelano's just really not finishing some of those pitches.
Yeah, he's a little bit too fired up. Came out here. He came out early, actually, from his warm-up. 3rd Major League start. Couldn't wait to get out here and face the team that traded him. So he's overthrowing the off-speed stuff, Bob, and then the last couple of fastballs that he threw weren't even close, and then you're going to need to start throwing some breaking balls to tighten it up and pull that front shoulder inward.
Not pitching to contact so far with a good defense behind him. Desmond and Kennedy up the middle tonight with Zimmerman and Dunn. And then Niger Morgan, Willie Harris getting a start. Josh Willingham has the night off, and Roger Bernardine is in right field. And we've already seen what Pudge Rodriguez can do behind the plate. A visit from Steve McCaddy. I asked Josh Willingham today, what are you going to do during the ball game tonight? He said, I hope it's nice and relaxing. We need to win 10-0. Okay. Guys like him don't like sitting around a whole lot, but this is that 20 games in 20-day stretch. And Jim Riggleman said yesterday that Willingham, who homered here last night, Adam Dunn, Ryan Zimmerman, they'll all get their days off. And tomorrow night, covering the bases with the soft-spoken young man from Florence, Alabama. Here's Brian McCann hitting .257. Had an RBI in the 9th inning here last night. The only reason Adam Dunn is holding Chipper Jones is because with 2 outs, the Nats do not want him to score on a double. Chipper's not 100%.
I don't know if he could leg it out.
Yeah, well, they want to make sure. And Desmond can just dance over to the bag on that one. So Adelano, couple of walks. The Braves can't do anything with it. Tacked on 3 points to their batting average last night. They're at 253, 10th in the league, 13th in runs. 3-homer night last night. Ian Desmond had one of those, his second of the year. And he's now 8 for 24 over his last 6 games. And you'll love the speed at the 6, 7, 8 spots tonight with Willie Harris, Desmond, and then Roger Bernardina. So the Nats have a varied attack. They're going to throw it. The good young right-hander who's only 23, Tommy Hanson. 22nd rounder back in 05. And as a rookie last year, he made 21 starts and went 11-4 with a good ERA, 2.89. His ERA this year, 2.17. This is one young pitcher who's for real, and here's Nyjer Morgan.
Well, and one of the reasons Willingham's sitting against righties this year, Bob, 190 batting average against, and lefties a little bit better, 250. So the hammer, who doesn't need to be jammed up by a guy throwing 95 miles an hour.
Nyjer Morgan hits this ball a long way. It's going to bounce into the bullpen for a ground rule double. If it stays in play, it's a triple.
Yep.
But the Nats will take it as Morgan muscles up and hits one over everybody's head.
Well, wastes no time taking that 95 the other way. Hanson supplying a lot of power. Nyjer just getting a bat out front. Look at that beautiful thing from Exmo. Get the bat head out early, or else he's going to break a lot of bats and get a lot of ground balls. But Nyjer would have easily had a triple. He was coming up to second base, Bob, when the ball bounced.
That's a great bunt by Adam Kennedy. Another step, he would have beaten it out. A perfect sacrifice. It goes 1-3, and the Nats are in business here in the bottom of the first.
Well, this kid is choice. He's got 4 on the floor. He's got 4 great pitches. Fastball, slider, curveball, changeup. They're all excellent. They're about a 7 on a scale of 2 to 8. Are you kidding me? 630 guys drafted ahead of this kid. 22nd round pick, please. And the youth movement. Hanson is part of the young Braves. You've got Jason Hayward, the 20-year-old out in right field. Hanson thrown to the 26-year-old behind the plate, McCann, and Hanson is 23.
Great RBI chance for Ryan Zimmerman, wasting no time and putting the Nats on top, 1-0. Morgan glides on home, and Ryan Zimmerman has his 14th RBI. And give Adam Kennedy a lot of credit for that. So now you've seen the ball over McLouth's head. One caught by the center fielder. He's between Matt Diaz and young Jason Hayward tonight. Omar Infante at short again with Yunel Escobar on the DL. He plays up the middle with Martin Prado, Chipper Jones, Troy Gloss, and Ryan McCann. You know, I would call that, even though it was one pitch, one swing, a very professional at bat by Ryan Zimmerman. Here's Adam Dunn, who's the only active Nat with a home run off Tommy Hanson.
Well, and people at home may be going, why? And a professional at bat means you're looking for something to drive out into the outfield, a hard fastball, something up in the zone. Zim saw it, and he wasted no time.
The only other player who's hit a home run off Tommy Hanson is Mike Morse. Not with the ball club right now.
Well, Hanson has only allowed 12 home runs, Bob, in 156 major league innings pitched. 26 starts. 2-0
to Dunn. 3-0. It's a home run count if he throws him a fastball here. He lost one last night.
Big curveball, big result. Big bad Dunn into the night.
Against left-hander Eric O'Flaherty. Adam had the green light on 3-0.
Well, and there's that great fastball, 94. He's pumping it in there, a lot like Josh Johnson. And they're going to see a lot of hard right-handers because Johnson comes back with the Marlins in a couple of games, Bob. But Tommy Hanson, maybe one more pitch than Josh.
Adam Dunn fouls one off to the left side. And the count's full at 3-2. The Nats have made a habit lately of scoring first. Last night, the exception. Pudge Rodriguez up in the number 5 spot tonight. Hey, who worries about moving him around? He's hitting .406. On a breaking ball, Adam Dunn took it. No swing, says Mike Riley. And the Nats have their second base runner on Adam Dunn's 20th walk of the year.
Let's see if he breaks that plane. No, he never even offered it that one.
Here's Pudge. One of the early nominees for free agent signing of the year in baseball. Last night was his 11th multi-hit game. He went fishing, and they got him on that one. Bill Miller says he went around.
I don't know. That was kind of close, too.
Pudge Rodriguez played 12 years in the heat of Texas. He hit 308 consecutive years from 95 to 02. Dunn with a short lead. And when I asked Pudge, we were chatting in Florida the other day on his day off, and I said, how did you play all those years in Texas? He said, I had to keep myself in great shape. He said, I worked extremely hard on the field, off the field. 12 years as the everyday catcher in that heat.
Well, remember, he got to play with Nolan Ryan at the end of Nolan's career.
He spent more time on a bicycle than anybody. And this is a great swing down the right field line.
Come on,
That's
Adam.
a fair
Come
ball.
on, Adam.
Adam Dunn going to third. Pat Listash will hold him as Hayward finally got around it. And the Nats have their second extra base hit of the inning. And both of them have been opposite field.
Well, it's funny. Now you've got Pudge is a great example to younger guys, and Nolan was that to Pudge. Pudge takes a fastball up and away, just whacks it down the right field line, gets a good kiss off the wall, gets by the 20-year-old Hayward. He's able to recover and keep Adam Dunn at third.
Here's a big spot for Willie Harris. Jim Riggleman said today, I need to get this guy in the lineup and get him going. And a big spot right here. Willie's only 2 for his last 21. And he'll pop it up on the first pitch. Foul ball for Chipper. And the Nats are gone, but they get a run on a double, a bunt, and a sac fly by Zimmerman. And the Nats lead 1-0. Call today for the Luna Double. Get your second room of flooring free at 877-241-LUNA. Couple of guys in this game. Yeah, couple, like in the year 2002. Adam Kennedy together with Troy Gloss on the world champion Angels. Adam, the MVP of the League Championship Series. Troy, the World Series. And both of them were mighty contributors. Gloss, of course, was a third baseman back then. Kennedy played up the middle with David Eckstein. And here they are on opposing teams in a different league a lifetime later.
And Troy was about a 40 to 45 home run a year guy back then as a third baseman with the Angels. Not quite there anymore.
In 2002, Troy Gloss hit 30 homers and drove in 111 runs. But then the next year and the year after, a right rotator cuff injury got him. And he played only 149 games combined in 03 and 04.
Big breaking ball here by Adelano on the 0-1. Nice.
Quickly 0-2 to Gloss, hitting .226. Big, strong right-handed batter, 6'5", 240. And he takes a fastball up and away.
You don't want that. It looks like he's getting underneath the sinker. You don't want the sinker to be up there. Very hittable. 89, especially with some of these big bats, going to leave the ballpark.
A lot of pitches in the first inning for Adelano. 19, only 7 strikes. Walked a couple of guys. Hayward on deck here in the second. And a 2-2. So you have a postseason hero from 02 standing in the batter's box. A postseason hero from 03 in the crouch right behind him. And the Braves are hoping for some of that to rub off on their guys as well. Bringing in Troy Gloss. He had a nightmare with St. Louis last year. Hardly played at all because of a shoulder injury. And now Adelano goes 3-2, and that earns him a fastball on the return throw from Pudge Rodriguez.
And back in that day, 47 homers in 2000, 41 in 01. It looked like he was going to be that kind of Adam Dunn player. Playing third base can take a lot out of you.
3-2 pitch, and it's off to the right. Gloss came out of UCLA, where he drove in 180 runs in his career and helped the Bruins to the College World Series in '97.
Got a little bit back. 37 homers in 05 with Arizona and 38 with Toronto in 06, and it looked like he was going to come back a little bit.
Adelano walks another man. He's flirting with danger here. His third of the game. And next up will be Hayward after our game notes. The Nats have some offensive balance, don't they? Ryan Zimmerman drove in his 14th run of the year in the first inning. 5 straight against the Braves, including sweeping them in Atlanta to close out last season. And the Braves bullpen just having a hard time on the road. Their road record of 3-11, the second worst in baseball. I've got Baltimore now at 3-13 after their loss to the Yankees 7-5 today. Strike one to Hayward. Jacks one up the middle. Desmond making the grab as the Nats had Hayward well scouted. And a very important first out here in the second.
Big, strong 20-year-old against a guy who doesn't throw over 90 miles an hour, and they got him played up the middle to pull. Played perfectly by Desmond.
Here's Matt Diaz. Now we know this guy's a lot better than what he's showing. A .310 career hitter in parts of 7 years with Tampa Bay, Kansas City, and Atlanta. And he's off to a 180 start here. In 17 ball games, he has only 9 hits in 50 at-bats.
Adelano, as you said, flirting with some fire. 3 walks. He's gotten 4 outs so far in the game. He's got 3 walks. A couple of balls hit pretty well.
And you know, one of those outs was from his catcher. So he's really only retired 3 batters. Little chopper. Desmond, he'll go to first. Diaz runs well. Close play. He's out. And Troy Gloss down to second base.
Well, it almost felt like he was going to try and go for 2 right here. Well, he quickly looked to second, and Diaz almost beats that ball out.
Yeah, Ian almost took too much time there.
Yep. But he did a quick little look to second. Don't have a shot there. Doesn't get a seam. He just throws the ball as soon as he can pick it out of his glove. Dunn made a nice play at first.
And for the Braves, their number 8 hitter, Omar Infante. Off to a good start at 3:04, getting lots of playing time now. Yesterday, the Braves placed Yunel Escobar on the DL with a left abductor strain. And he was hitting only .215. You know, Rob, they say hitting's contagious, but there are ball clubs where everybody can go in the tank at the same time if just a couple of guys aren't getting it done.
Yeah, they've got some guys that are banged up. Escobar, you said, with the abductor deal. Chipper Jones is banged up. So not a lot of guys hitting at the same time, but a lot of guys hurt at the same time.
And not to take anything away from the Nats' start. We love it that they're 14-12 and over 500. But you have to be honest, they caught the Mets at the right time. They're catching the Braves at the right time. So it is time to take advantage of these ball clubs, and then you'll take your chances when they get healthy later. 3-0 with the pitcher on deck. And a fastball in there. Tommy Hanson, 3 hits in his big league career. Had him way out ahead of a 3-1 breaking ball.
Well, he's trying to find some pitches that work right now. The sinker's been up in the zone. The changeup has been down. So 3-1. He throws a nice breaking ball down, off speed. Fonte nowhere near it. So that differential between the 90-mile-an-hour heater and 74 breaking ball, Bob, is perfect. Right around 16 miles an hour. 15, 16 is beautiful.
A big out if he can get it, but don't groove one and let the number 8 hitter tie the game with a base hit. He left a pitch up, and Infante hits it to left. Willie Harris watching it go into the bullpen on a hanging breaking ball to a guy with no home runs, but now he has one. That is a cardinal sin to let that happen in the National League.
Bob called it. Don't groove one. You just threw one. Pitch recognition is everything in the big leagues. And Fonte's eyes got as big as a whale's eyes. And boy, he saw that thing and thought it was a softball. But you have the pitcher up, 2 outs, a base open. You couldn't have done more wrong if you tried. So right now, the Braves up a run.
Omar Infante's first homer of the year.
Wow.
And his 38th career homer in 7 years. That's how bad that is. And the count goes to 0-2 on Tommy Hanson, who's 3 for 48 career.
Well, that's a tough lesson to learn when you've walked 3 guys. You're trying to find a pitch that works. Having trouble, you find one, you throw it low. Then the next one, you try to throw for a strike. You know, with the base open, you got to throw the same pitch you just threw on 3-1. You throw 3-1, get the swing and strike, and then you try to throw a strike with that one, and it gets lost.
Tommy Hanson called out on strikes. Bad inning for Adelano. Maybe his worst as a big leader so far. you by AT&T. Rethink possible. Braves on top 2-1, bottom of the second coming up. Atlanta has had to change their outfielders. There's Omar Infante, who hit the home run. Something has gone wrong with Jason Hayward, and Melky Cabrera, who started the ball game last night, has come into play right field here for the bottom of the second. Desmond leads off after a big evening. RBI single earlier. He took a breaking ball out of here.
Yep, he took a bad Kawakami breaking ball right there. So when you hang pitches at this level, many times they don't stay around long enough for you to find out if it was a good one or a bad one.
Desmond, Bernardina, Adelano here in the bottom of the second. Desmond 8 for his last 24, has his batting average up to 260. Now this ball's going to get out of here. He lines one into the bullpen, and the game is tied. And Ian Desmond is now hitting 360 over his last 7 games. That's some live bat, Rob Dibble.
It is, and when he gets that bat head out on a 94-mile-an-hour heater, that ball's going to jump. Still humid, and 1-0 fastball up, and that's the 13th home run hit off of Hansen in about 157 innings. Not easy to square up that guy, and so Ian Desmond just taught Hansen a lesson that, hey, he may be young, but you can't sneak a 94-mile-an-hour fastball by Ian Desmond, Bob.
Well, Ian told me today, because I knew he had made some sort of adjustment, and I said, are you comfortable telling me what you did? He said, yes, I'm comfortable. He said, I have shortened my swing after consulting with some of his hitting guys down in the minor leagues with Rick Eckstein's approval. And he said, I had looked at some video of myself. He said, I was turning away from the pitcher, and then as the pitch came in, I was turning some more.
Right.
He said, I was almost like a golfer who was all screwed into the ground, and he said my swing had gotten very long. He said I've shortened it now. I feel like I'm getting to the ball quicker. And Rob, that was a very short swing.
Short and sweet.
How about that? Bernardina hits it well up the middle.
Oh, boy.
And the guys at the bottom of the lineup, Rob, these two players now have 6 hits in this series. Roger Bernardina coming alive now. He's 4 for 16.
Very nice swing right here by Roger Bernardina. It's a bad breaking ball by Hansen. And right now you see Bernardina choked up on the bat a little bit right there. Look at the bat head, how far out in front it is. And that's exactly how you have to cover that plate. Get the bat head out early, especially on a guy that throws hard like Hansen. Sometimes hope for the best.
Adelano could be bunting here with nobody out. In fact, he should be. Pitch outside, good take, ball 1.
And I was going to say about Desmond, I'm sure that the scouting reports were from a week ago, which sometimes they are a few days old, that very slow, long swing by Desmond. And in the last week, he's made an adjustment to shorten the swing, and Hansen figured, 1-0, and I'll just throw it by him at about 94, see if he offers that, and maybe I'll pop him up. And that's sometimes what we always say about our guys. And he lost it, and he got hit out, so... New game.
1-0. And a foul tip. The final part of our conversation with Desmond is I said, yeah, I exactly know what you're talking about, because when I play golf, my swing gets very long. And we all have found out that if you shorten your swing, the ball goes just as far. You know, you're up there trying to kill it as a hitter. And I think Desmond proves with that swing, that thing goes into the bullpen just as well as it does with a big swing.
I was just told to ask you if snap hook means anything to you on your golf.
Never heard of it. And I know who told you to ask me that. And I will be attending no production meetings for the next 4 days. Steven Strasburg's game will be on tape delay after the Nats game against the Marlins on Friday night. Strasburg making his AAA debut for the Chiefs of Syracuse against the Gwinnett Braves. In fact, one of the other things Ian Desmond and I talked about, I asked Ian, what about that ballpark in Syracuse? Is it fair to a pitcher? He said it's really shallow down the right field line, but it's like 400 to the gap in left center. It's kind of an odd configuration there. But he said it's definitely a pitcher's ballpark. If he can keep anybody from pulling the ball down the right field line, I thought that might be interesting for our fans to know before they tune into that game on Friday night. That's the lead run at second base with one out for Niger Morgan. And they're not playing him any deeper than they were when he hit the ball over their heads last time up in left center. That's a high strike, 0-2. Niger Morgan, by the way, has now scored 14 runs on the year. The Nats have scored 112, counting their 2 tonight. Breaking ball hit left field. Fair ball. Nats take the lead, and Niger Morgan has another extra base hit. RBI number 7, and the Nats are hitting Tommy Hanson very well here.
Another hanging breaking ball, and we say this about our guys, Bob, that if something's not working, why do you keep trying to throw it? And a couple of these hits have been given up on bad breaking balls to Bernardina, that one to Niger Morgan, and a guy that has 4 good pitches. I don't know why he keeps trying to throw that big curveball in there, but that's helping our lighter hitting guys.
Here's Adam Kennedy, who laid down a perfect sacrifice bunt first time. He goes up hacking, hits that ball well to left center, but Nate McLouth is right there.
That ball was stung.
Spend Mother's Day with your family here at the ballpark. First 20,000 fans through the gates on May 9th when the Marlins are here. Receive a free water bottle presented by Harris Teeter. After the game, the first ever kids and moms run the bases. We told you, moms, bring your workout gear, outrun the kids on the bases Sunday. You'll have bragging rights for another year. Now here's Ryan Zimmerman. Ryan already 1 RBI tonight on a sac fly. The second pitch he sees tonight's a breaking ball outside.
Yeah, there's the little slider. So the curveball he's keeping up in the zone, slider down.
And Morgan back in. You cannot get careless and get picked off when you're in scoring position. One and 0 to Ryan Zimmerman.
You hear the pop of that 94, 95 mile an hour fastball. I think Niger may have learned that lesson of not making the last out at third. And since there's not a pitcher running in front of him, maybe he's just saying, I can pretty much walk home on a base hit here. If you look behind you, you see how deep the outfield is. So Niger, no reason to try to steal third.
2-0 to Zimmerman. That ball hit right out the end of the bat. And Niger made a bit of a break toward third base there. And there are some hitters who do not like the runner at second base doing that.
Yeah, that can disrupt the hitter at home. I know you're trying to bother the pitcher, but the more movement, and that's a great point you make, the more movement you have behind the pitcher. I mean, I remember Eddie Murray always moving the umpire. It was one of the biggest battles Hall of Famer Eddie Murray used to fight all the time, was get the umpire out of his line of sight.
2-1 to Zimmerman. Another throw. That was really close, and some of the Braves were heading for the dugout. There is no reason for Niger Morgan to be doing this with your best hitter at the plate and 2 outs. That's too close.
Well, he's trying to help the team any way he can, and he's trying to disrupt Hanson's concentration. Hanson, a young 23-year-old.
He's got a big lead again. Zimmerman deep to left. If it stays fair, and it does not, it hooks foul. short of the puck, and the Nats almost led 5-2.
Well, didn't seem like it bothered him that much on that swing. And when a guy throws 95, you got to get the bat head out early. Right there, it was out just a little bit too early, and there's a little English. Couldn't keep it in the park, but well struck. Not too many cheap or soft hit balls off of Tommy Hanson so far tonight.
Nats have swung the bats well, 5 hits already. 2-2 pitch. Ryan Zimmerman is in the top 7 in the National League in extra base hits with 14. 14 of his 20 hits have been doubles or more, and that's remarkable considering he's missed over a week of time so far. He's been lights out with runners in scoring position, 2 outs. Front door breaking ball, almost got him on the corner, ball 3.
Pitch track right here, 2-2, as Bob said. Pretty good breaking ball. It would be a backdoor breaking ball to a lefty, but right up front with Zimmerman. Maybe just a little bit around the edge. Didn't get the call.
Morgan running, and Zimmerman fouls it away. Nigel Morgan, you folks might remember when he came to the ball club last year, he probably stole third 5-6 times before he got hurt.
A lot of base runners and a lot of base stealers think third is a lot easier to swipe than first. A lot of times you can time a guy. He might look back once, twice, but as soon as he goes to home, it's a little easier to get a break.
Big breaking ball off speed, strikes out Zimmerman. Nats get a couple of runs. Ian Desmond starting things out on a quick swing into the bullpen. Morgan doubles in a run, and the Nats have the lead again. Beautiful night at the ballpark, 75 degrees at game time. How about our Home Depot doing more on defense? Pudge Rodriguez, perfect to the bag. 2 for 4 in that department now this year. And Pudge Rodriguez setting the tone again for great Nats defense. Top of the third, Nate McLouth, and Adelano throws in a strike.
And we will try and get with Pudge, Bob, later this week and get some catching tips for our younger viewers on how he gets that rear end up in the air, gets himself in a position for that quick release to second base that's won him 13 gold gloves. So,
and that's why I brought up the thing about Texas. Even more remarkable that he could do that for 12 years in the heat down there. And I worked there for 4 years. We were comparing notes. And that is strike 3 on Nate McLouth. As Adelano doesn't mess around, he throws a fastball right down Capitol Street for the strikeout.
Well, and maybe he learned a little bit, and it's a tough lesson, your third start in the major leagues from the 8-hitter Omar Infante. A little bit more angst and urgency by Adelano here in this inning. And Bob,
great changeup.
H.H. Gregg on our Exmo, and there you see the changeup. Look at the reverse rotation.
Lovely.
Man, where can I get one of those cameras?
How much money you got?
Probably not enough.
There's Martin Prado.
I know you can loan me some.
Let me calculate the interest.
The interest.
But getting back to Pudge, let's say it's June, July, or August in Arlington, Texas.
Smoking hot.
It's going to be about 107, maybe 105 degrees at game time. At 9 o'clock, it's going to be 100. Then Pudge told me that a lot of nights, and that ball is hooking onto the chalk line from Martin Prado. That's a double into the left field corner. Right on the line, and Prado has his first hit in this series, and it took 6 at-bats for that to happen.
Well, and as we told you, the one thing about Adelano, with nobody on base, hitters came in tonight, Bob, hitting over 300 against him, so once again gets a quick out on the strikeout, and there you go, right on the chalk line. So there's the mark to prove that it did hit some white. Yeah, and I talked to Clint Hurdle, who went down to Texas this year, and they brought down Mike Maddox, the great pitching coach from the Brewers, and I asked him that question about the heat, Bob, and he said, listen, it's so hot down here in these summer months that we have to do different things. We can't go out on the field every day and take BP, so you have to do it underneath in the air conditioning. And a lot of days are spent not out on the field, and so you got to work twice as hard, because when you're out there, it's going to suck the life out of you. And having played down in Florida, not only in the minor leagues, but in the major leagues in Miami in the middle of the summer, you're going to lose a lot of water weight. You're going to lose a lot of energy. It's hot. It's 10 o'clock at night sometimes, whether it's Texas, St. Louis, it's still going to be 100 degrees. Yeah. So it's not going to get any cooler just because the sun goes down.
Texas Rangers were the first team I ever saw that took batting practice in gym shorts. Chipper Jones with a base hit. Prado coming around. Strong throw by Bernardina, but late, and the Braves have tied the game. So there's only been 1/2 inning in this game so far, the top of the first, without anybody scoring. Chipper Jones with his 7th RBI.
Well, Chipper Jones is going to the Hall of Fame someday as one of the best switch hitters that's ever played this game. And right there, he got a pitch he could handle. He knew it was an RBI situation, which he has close to 1,500 of those. And he just sneaks it through the right side. And Prado, by the way, got a great jump. Bernardina had no chance. So he's got to recognize, too, from right field. Hit the cutoff man, and don't waste that throw that might go awry past Pudge at home base.
RBI number 1,452 for Chipper Jones. 3rd on the all-time Braves home run list, behind Hank Aaron and Eddie Matthews. He is number 1 on the Atlanta list.
Some pretty good company.
I didn't realize that Hank Aaron hit 335 homers in Atlanta after the Braves have moved there from Milwaukee, of his 733.
I know you have this somewhere. Where's Chipper on these switch hitters all-time home run list?
Number 2 all-time. Behind Frankie Frisch, ahead of Pete Rose, Robbie Alomar, and breaking into the top 5 last year was Lance Berkman at 299.
Home runs by switch hitters? Eddie Murray's got to be up there.
Mickey Mantle's number 1.
Yeah.
Chipper's 3rd. Mantle 536, Murray 504.
I knew you had that somewhere.
Chipper counting his 2 this year, 428. Number 4, quite a drop-off after Chipper. From Chipper to Chili.
Chili Davis.
Chili Davis.
Very nice.
350. Another walk. Luis Adelano, 4th walk already. He's only given up 3 hits. One of them the horribly handled 2-run homer by the number 8 hitter Omar Infante. And here comes another visit from Steve McCaddy, and I think Steve McCaddy's going to arrive at the mound in a bad mood here.
Well, it's never a good thing when he talks to the umpire, and then he's probably going to talk to Pudge. And he is just being read the riot act right now.
2 on, 1 out. And this was after he struck out Nate McLouth on 3 pitches to start the inning. Tyler Walker is working.
Well, and I'm sure that Steve McCaddy is still irritated by the Omar Infante home run.
That looks like a cordial conversation to me. Maybe
yeah,
Steve might be saying
him up.
Yeah, Steve might be saying, hey, this kid's making his 3rd start. He's nowhere near the plate. Give him a break somewhere.
Yeah, cut him some slack, and maybe I'll take you to the Capitol Grill sometime.
How about tonight? Here's Troy Gloss, who walked to lead off the second, then scored on the Infante home run. The Nats have hit well against Tommy Hanson, more so than you could ever hope for in the early innings. And right now, Adelano's giving it all back. 1 run in, 2 on, 1 out.
Well, and the momentum swings are just going back and forth like a pendulum right now. 1 minute we have it, the next minute the Braves have it, and I think that Steve McCaddy and Jim Riggleman would like it to stay on our side for a little bit. And that has to do with Adelano. Hey, they go back, they get you the lead, and what do? You cough it right back up.
Threw a 2-0 pitch right by him. It's not Jason Hayward. Melky Cabrera is next. Haven't received any kind of report on why Hayward left the game in the 2nd inning. Mediocre success for Gloss in this department so far. And out to center. That'll be easy for Niger Morgan. At second base, Chipper Jones not going anywhere.
Chipper's a no-go.
And 2 outs. Major League Baseball, People Magazine, looking for individuals who make a difference in their communities. Everyday All-Stars, 30 of them, 1 from each big league city. Really every big league team will be honored at the 2010 All-Star Game in Anaheim. And to nominate, go to peopleallstars.com. First time up for Melky Cabrera, who is struggling. 0 for 4 last night. And hitting just .202. Cabrera hit .274 with 68 RBIs for the Yankees last year.
Did you hear about Milton Bradley leaving? I mean, literally leaving the team last night.
No, that surprised.
He was so angry he struck out with the bases loaded that he just packed his gear, told Don Wakamatsu, I'm out of here.
Well, so are the Braves, as Willie Harris puts that one away. Jim Riggleman joins us live. A lot to talk about in this game so far. All right, a lot to get excited about in this ball game so far. A lot of offense. Nats have scored well against Tommy Hanson. Luis Adelano is struggling. Bob and Rob upstairs. Jim Riggleman joins us live from the dugout. Hey, Jim, first of all, what's going on with Luis Adelano? This is not the command that he had in his first 2 starts.
You know, I think we saw a little bit of it last night with Livan Hernandez at 6 days off, pitching on the 7th day. Might be affecting them a little bit. You know, they're kind of guys who rely on their control and so forth, and it's probably just too many days off, but it couldn't avoid it with the 2 off days on the schedule.
So in the case of Livan, okay, he's a guy that he relies on the tired arm for a lot of his off-speed stuff. With Adelano, it almost looked like, Skip, that he came out and he was so hyped up, 3rd start or whatever, team that he got traded for, that he might be just overthrown a little bit.
Well, you know, we talked about that a little bit in here in the dugout, that that's the team that traded him, and maybe there might be a little of that involved, but you know, it's one of those 2 things, or it's inexplainable. I don't know, but this is not his style of pitching.
Adam Dunn, Pudge Rodriguez, Willie Harris, bottom of the 3rd. Jim, we are marveling at the way Ian Desmond is suddenly hitting the ball. He told me today he shortened his swing a little bit. Do you see that, and is this what's paying off with these great at-bats he's having?
Well, you know, I see something in batting practice where something looked different. You know, I'm not very good on analyzing swings and mechanics of the swing, but I know standing around out there shagging, I'm looking in there thinking something looks different here, so I know he's made some kind of an adjustment.
Are you a little bit amazed, especially since the collision that Pudge had at home in Florida, that he just keeps rolling along at 38? He wants to catch every day.
Very much. You know, he really works hard. When anytime he's not playing in the game, he wants to know a day ahead of time, of course, but you know, you do that for veteran guys anyway, but his plan is he's going to do a little extra work in the weight room and on his running program. He's on a mission to play a few more years, and he knows he's got to be in shape to do it.
Jim, I have to ask you, when you tell him he's not playing, is he happy about it?
Well, you know, I tell you, what we do is we usually work it out. You know, I talked to him today, and I said, let's figure out which day you're going to get off here. We're going to have 20 days in a row, so you're going to have a few off. So I kind of let him pick and choose it, because our other catcher's a right-hand hitter that's very comfortable with our staff. And I know Will do a great job whenever I put him in there, too.
What about Willingham? He doesn't probably like sitting next to you, does he?
No, but, you know, it's one of those things. I know eventually, you know, you get your club to the point where you're kind of putting the same guys out there. But right now, I don't want any rust to get on anybody. And I think Hammer's a guy that last year showed us that a day off every now and then is actually going to help his swing. We've had too many at this point in the season. You know, we've had too many days off. But, you know, those days off add up for those bench players, too.
1-2 to Pudge with 1 out here in the 3rd. Jim Riggleman with us live from the dugout. One more question for the skipper, and then we'll let him get back to work. And there's Pudge striking out for only the 8th time this year. Jim, you and I talked about this in Florida last week. These Greyhounds at the bottom of your batting order in this series now. Desmond and Bernardina have 6 hits. They've driven in 4 runs, and they've scored 3 runs. You're going to have to think long and hard about breaking them up, aren't you?
Well, you know, it's really a great thing to see some young players from your own organization come in here and play good. You know, Desmond, obvious, but, you know, Bernardina is trying to get untracked, and the last couple of days, I think that catch he made last night really made him feel at home, and that he can loosen up a little bit. He can contribute defensively if he's not hitting, but he's starting to come around with the bat, and, you know, coming from within the system, it's a beautiful thing when your homegrown talent comes up there and plays well.
There's a strike to Willie Harris. Jim, as always, we appreciate your time, and we'll let you get back to work.
Okay, thanks, Rob.
Thanks, Skip.
Jim Riggleman articulating all the things going on with this ball club. Guys who can play all over the place. Willie's one of them. Swung at the first pitch first time up and popped up.
Well, I love Riggs so much because he wants you to bring your A game. Whether you're sitting on the bench waiting to get in the game, whether you're out there playing, he wants you to be ready to bring that A game to the park every day. And he's not going to settle for guys not bringing it.
Last night, the Nationals had 2 left fielders, 3 right fielders, 3 second basemen, 2 first basemen, 5 pitchers, and won the ball game 6-3.
Don't.
2 balls and 2 strikes to Willie Harris, who fouled out first time with 2-minute board back in the first. Debbie Taylor, what's happening with Jason Hayward?
Well, Jason left the game with a sore right groin. He is listed as day-to-day, Bob.
Yeah, we were told this is not the first time that's happened this year.
Or this week.
Two and two to Willie. That's a badly needed base hit. Willie Harris 2 for 22 before that swing. And he's aboard, and hey, you get Ian Desmond up there with 2 outs, anything could happen the way he is swinging the bat.
Well, it's all about quickness here, Bob, and you talk to him. He's trying to shorten up. Shorten up means getting that bat head through the zone as quick as you can, and on a guy throwing 95, it better be quick. It was quick. Power supplied by Hansen, and that ball just jumped out of here on the line.
Ian Desmond, 2 homers in 2 nights. He now has 7 big league blasts. And I think it's so exciting as an observer of this team and for you fans to see these kids we've been hearing about for a couple of years in the minor leagues and then have them come up and make an impact. Homegrown. Harris started, then stopped.
Wow, where's that pitch?
Yeah, it's ball 1, and I'm having a hard time believing it.
Well, to me, it's also a reflection on your instructors down there, too, that they come up and they're ready to play. They don't come up here, and that ball's a strike. As many years as I've watched baseball, I'd like to have that pitch if I'm out there on the mound. But you know that the instructors are doing a heck of a job down at the lower levels. And that's got to make you, especially if you're Mike Rizzo, Stan Kasten, and anybody up here that's trying to run the big league club, make you feel happy that you don't have to worry about what's going on beneath you, that guys are ready to play when they hit the big leagues.
Then Ian went reaching that time. So over his last 25 at-bats, 9 hits. By the way, thanks to Jim Riggleman for joining us on Wired Wednesday. One to Desmond. With Willie Harris being held by Troy Gloss. Lots of hitting room on that right side. Desmond has shown us how strong he is. Bernardina on deck. Suddenly swinging well. That Ian does not have to pull the ball to get an extra base hit.
Oh, no. He could be just a little bit tardy down the right field line with Melky Cabrera over there.
Up the middle on a busted bat. Infante to Prado, and the Nats are gone in the 3rd. They've stranded 4. It's a 3-3 game.
tied at 3 as we move to the top of the 4th inning. A lot of heavy hearts in baseball with the passing of legendary Tigers broadcaster Ernie Harwell and Steve McCatty, the Nats pitching coach. Listen to him as a youngster growing up in Michigan, and their paths later crossed in the big leagues.
Just his kindness. You know, it's not a little hole, it's a big hole. You know, Ernie was to everybody that met him just one time, or I mean, I've known him for 30 years now, and he was just such a fixture there. You know, your memories as a kid growing up were, you know, Al Kaline and all that, but the guy you learned about Al Kaline from was Ernie Harwell.
Steve said, too, his voice was baseball, but beyond that, he was described as a great man, a role model, and a gentleman. Guys?
Well said, Debbie. Well said, Steve McCatty. There will be a public viewing of Ernie Harwell at Comerica Park in Detroit later this week. Here's Matt Diaz for the Braves, top of the 4th. Luis Adelano trying to get his evening under control here. 61 pitches in the first 3 innings. But he's in the ball game, 3-3. And the count's 1-1 on the number 7 Braves hitter. Lined right at Ian Desmond, who is a human magnet for baseballs lately. Nats and the Marlins Friday come out early. First 10,000 fans, 21 and older, receive a free cooler bag presented by Miller Lite. And don't forget, those pregame brews are just $5 at the Miller Lite Scoreboard Walk Bar.
Cinco de Mayo. Or is that Cinco Screech?
Screecho.
Screecho.
El Screecho.
El Screecho.
Omar Infante, one of the most damaging at-bats by a number 8 hitter in baseball this year. With first base open, pitcher on deck. Nice catch, ma'am. Yes, and cameras are everywhere in those foul balls. Omar Infante got a hanging breaking ball from Adelano and hit it into the bullpen, giving the Braves a 2-1 lead. Yeah, that was good off speed. Omar's not going to be able to supply the power on that thing. Another pitcher's duel in Philadelphia tonight. No score. Cardinals and the Phils, with Brad Penny and Kyle Kendrick hooking up in the 4th inning. And the Giants have a run at Florida. Top of the 5th, bottom of the 5th now. San Francisco leads 1-0. That's Nate Robertson against Barry Zito. And Zito comes into that game 4-0.
I don't know if you have the hits to innings pitched on Zito, but he's given up about 15 less hits than innings pitched this year. Really throwing the ball well.
Very nearly hitting Infante. You don't want that to happen. That was a changeup.
And now with the pitcher coming up next.
Yeah, because he's going to bunt, and then McLouth could give them the lead with a base hit. You've got to retire the number 8 hitter in this league. Zimmerman. That's a fair ball.
That should be a hit.
That was a tough play. The ball just hugging the line all the way down.
Well, this ball not hit very well. It's going to go over the bag, and it would have been a tough throw anyway, even for Ryan Zimmerman. I don't even know if he got leather. It looks like it just hit him in the shin. Saw a little grimace.
It's a hit for Omar Infante. And here's Hansen. Adam Dunn scoops up the fair ball and tags him. Sacrifice well done. Here comes our smartphone. Bobby Cox, 4th all time among managers with 2,424 wins. The 3 managers ahead of him. That's not that tough. We'll let you folks. One of them is active, we can tell you.
Tony La Russa.
Cha-ching. The other 2 long gone.
Casey Stengel.
One of them has a career losing record.
John McGraw.
It's not him, but he is second on the list. Adam Dunn's got it on a sharply hit ball by Nate McLouth, and very well done by the big fella down at first base. With night falling on our nation's capital. Nyjer Morgan's 2 for 2 now, hitting up in the 280s. He has a run and an RBI. Omar Infante, the big blow of the night, that 2-run homer. Back in the second, hanging breaking ball, and the little shortstop hit one too far for the little left fielder to make the catch. Ian Desmond countered with a solo leading off the second. Banging into the bullpen. Later, Morgan's double gave the Nats the lead, but the Braves got the tie game right back on a Chipper Jones RBI. Here's Bernardino with Adelano and Morgan to follow in the Washington fourth. Interesting that on our AT&T trivia, the all-time winningest manager in Major League history has 3,731 wins, but he has a losing record.
Who's the guy that wore the suit?
That's him.
God, I can't think of his name.
Initials CM.
CM. Christy Mathewson.
No, he was a pitcher.
No.
First name Cornelius.
Cornelius.
Well, they called him something else for short. Cornelius McGillicuddy. Connie Mack.
Connie Mack.
Roger Bernardino. Connie Mack would have loved this play by his right fielder.
Squeeze it. Oh, touchdown. I don't think Levon knew what to do. I'm so tickled to death. That's awesome.
You know, when I see him running off the field smiling, you know who that reminds me of?
Ken Griffey Jr.
A young Ken Griffey Jr. Played the game with such joy. Roger can't reach that one.
No, not with a boat oar. That was gas. 96.
But, Rob, here we go on Cornelius McGillicuddy, called Connie Mack. He lost 4,024 games in 53 years as the manager of the Philadelphia Athletics. Here comes our smartphone, John McGraw, Giants. 33 years for John McGraw. And the ironic thing about Connie Mack was the Phillies and the Athletics shared the stadium in Philadelphia. So the Phillies had to play in a stadium named after the other team's manager, Connie Mack Stadium.
Now, why can't managers wear suits today? You can do it in football.
Head coaches do in basketball.
In football. I mean, I think you have to ask in football for permission to wear a suit. I think it's professional looking.
Over by the bag, Chipper Jones will handle that one, and Adelano Niger Morgan has 2 doubles tonight. He scored a run. He has driven in a run.
Well, and talk about setting the tone early on Tommy Hanson. Gets up there, ground rule double, then he hits one the opposite way. So Niger Morgan doing a great job of actually using the power of Tommy Hanson against him.
Niger Morgan's now hitting .287. And the great thing about the 2 swings, he's gone opposite field both times. Left center field gap on the 1 hopper into the bullpen, right down the line for the RBI double. And he loves this ballpark, hitting nearly .350 here.
Well, it's got some deep alleys for him. And if he can get it by into the gap, whether it's the right or left, look at those deep gap right there. I mean, that's a huge gap right there. That's all Niger Morgan territory. So on defense, he gets to roam out there, too. By the way, I asked Josh Willingham today about Jason Hayward's home run last night, and he said, I had a great angle on it out in left field. He said that ball was 50 feet over the fence.
Oh, yeah.
He said that was a bomb by the 20-year-old.
Well, we remarked last night, most home runs to center field just get over that 402 mark. That one almost took the windows out of that vehicle parked out there. And by the way, I found out today that vehicle is not bulletproof.
Or ball-proof?
No, that was a bullet last night. 2-2 to Morgan. Low and inside as Niger works the count.
Oh, and by the way, I told Brian McCann you think he's old looking for 26.
I didn't say that.
I know you didn't. I just made it up. But they were talking about Jason Hayward, and Chipper Jones remarked that by the time Hayward's 26, he will be making an awful lot of money in this game.
What does that have to do with me saying Brian McCann looks old?
Well, you said you couldn't believe he was only 26.
Sure.
So I took that as you think he's old.
No, I said he'd been around for quite a while.
Well, and Chipper said that too.
Now I got a guy with gear after me.
Oh, Brian's too sweet of a young man to bother with you, Bobby.
Matt Capps is also from that East Cobb program. I'll have Matt hanging with me, and we'll take care of Brian McCann.
Oh, man. Brian's too nice. He's a nice guy.
I think he's one of the best young catchers that's come along in our generation over the last 10 to 20 years, really. Leads catchers in many offensive categories over the last 4 years. 3-2, a good battle here. Niger Morgan is 3 for 3.
And winning the battles right now against Tommy Hanson. Tommy Hanson is a little perplexed right now by our leadoff hitter. He's given up a couple of doubles, and then he twirls a curveball right there, and Niger gets jammed, but he turns on it because it's on the inner half, and he manages a single.
And he's now hitting .294. And Niger Morgan's on-base percentage is up in the .370 range now. Tie game. You want to be smart here, but you'd love to see Jim Riggleman turn this rabbit loose with 2 outs and see if Adam Kennedy can take a pitch or two to get him to second base and then drive him in. This is where having a number 2 hitter like Adam Kennedy becomes very important. There he goes. Pitch out. Throw. Got him. McCann nearly skipped it down there. And now Niger Morgan has been caught this year as many times as he's been successful. 6-6. Had seats over there on that first base side this evening. Nigel Morgan, Rob's now stolen 6, and this is the 6th time he's been caught.
Well, and Tommy Hansen is on the right side of the rubber. They pitch out. They did everything they could do to get Nigel Morgan, and Nigel almost stole this bag. Quick tag by Infante gets him. Exmo right here showing you that it was just before his hand hit the bag. But, you know, when your pitcher's on the right side of the rubber with a left-handed hitter up there, they're pitching out on the first pitch. They knew something was up with Nigel Morgan, and he's still upset.
And I was about to make the point that with Christian Guzman batting second, you know, he's going to be up there hacking. But Adam Kennedy's the kind of guy who's going to take some pitches. And they pitched out on the very first one. Now here's a base hit by Martin Prado starting off the 5th inning.
That boy can hit.
He's 2 for 3 tonight and hitting over 340 this year. Geico President's Race, not exactly sure what they had in mind here, with Teddy loitering on the warning track with a Cinco de Mayo sombrero.
Come on, Teddy.
Tom wipes him out.
You can't be over there with a cerveza, Teddy. And then, what happened to Thomas Jefferson? Ran right into the gecko.
Chipper Jones goes up hacking. Morgan slides to cover it. Jones going to second.
Oh, nice try by Niger.
And they're attacking Adelano early in the count here.
Yes, they are. They noticed something the first couple of at-bats, and now the third trip through, they're stinging him on that sinker early in the count. Prado got a jam shot, took it to right. That's a bad breaking ball in the outer half, and Chipper, he's seen a lot of those bad outside backdoor sliders in his day. Nigel Morgan did a great job, Bob, though, throwing behind Prado, trying to get Chipper. He had a little bit maybe more momentum going forward. He maybe had a throw at second or a play at second.
One takes Tyler Walker long. He was ready earlier. Well, later in the ball game, this would probably be an intentional walk to Brian McCann with a right-hander on deck. And a switch hitter slumping Melky Cabrera behind him. This will be interesting to see if the Nats try to attack McCann here. On a pitch away, he tried to pull it, strike 2.
Well, you attack them, but cautiously. You have one of the best Brave hitters. But the Braves right now, Bob, are the worst hitting team, average and statistic-wise, in the big leagues. So when your opposition's not swinging the bat well, you know, why are you going to put them in a situation where you load the bases up and a possible mistake on a sinker to gloss could cost you maybe 3 runs?
Agreed.
You got to get guys out at the big league level. This is something also where Jim Riggleman and Steve McCatty are checking out their young pitcher.
All speed for the strikeout. Well done. Adelano's 3rd K of the night. That'll bring up Troy Gloss.
We've talked a lot about this. All right, you got yourself in a jam situation. You jammed yourself up. Now unjam yourself. So work your way out of this. Make some pitches, and he did. That is an excellent breaking ball right there. Watch this rotation. Big rotation, and it dies right at the plate where you want it to. Great stop, by the way, which may get missed tomorrow in the box score, but that saved the run.
Pedro Rodriguez backhanding that ball on the short hop. First base unoccupied. It required a tag for the out. And now Troy Gloss overmatched on a pitch on his hands.
I don't know what he was looking for because the hitters before him got what they wanted. He looked like he took an emergency hack on what a guy is known for, throwing a sinker.
What if he was expecting
that would have been trouble.
Off-speed pitch and couldn't react to high 80s.
Which is hard to do.
I know.
It's hard to get yourself jammed up on high 80s, but Adelano making a lot of pitches. But you know what? We were told this. He's a pitcher. He's going to work hard out there. He's got maybe too many walks because he's a little too cautious at times. But he doesn't have Tommy Hansen's stuff. And when you're matched up against one of the better young pitchers in Hansen, you know, to be 3-3 here in the top of the 5th is not the worst thing in the world. He's got to try to keep it there.
Phillies have a 2-0 lead now over St. Louis, and the Giants now lead 3-0 at Florida in the middle innings. Placido Polanco has hit his 4th homer of the year for Philadelphia. Aaron Rowan, his 3rd of the year for the Giants. And did you see that play he made last night? Oh, my.
And he took a face plant earlier in the year in San Francisco. It's the 2nd time in his career.
2-2 pitch, and a bounce it is short will give the Braves the lead. Desmond throws out Gloss. Prado scores 4-3 Atlanta. One more with the Braves, and the Marlins are in for the weekend. And tomorrow night, interesting pitching matchup. Scott Olson, Tim Hudson. Friday, Craig Stammen, Chris Volstad. The Nats haven't figured out who's pitching against Josh Johnson Saturday. Then Levon goes against Anibal Sanchez on Sunday. And by the way, our great friend Johnny Holiday will step in for me tomorrow night for the next 4 ball games. I'm heading home for the graduation of my daughter from college, and it'll be the Johnny Holiday Rob Dibble show for the next 4 days.
Well, you'll be missed, but Johnny will try to fill in for you. I told him the voice that he had last night, he better not bring that to the booth. Drink some green tea or something and take your vitamins.
I got the perfect cure for Johnny. Not what you're thinking. No hard stuff.
No hard
when
stuff.
When an announcer has a bad voice, you get some cranberry juice, heat it up. It's wonderful. All you singers out there, take heed. Melky Cabrera takes one outside, 1 ball, 1 strike. I learned that, by the way, from Buck Martinez, of all people. So how did a catcher know about that?
17 years in the big leagues, and then about another 20, 25 in the booth.
Yep.
Old Buckaroo up in Toronto now.
Talked to him today. He's doing well. That's in there on the corner. 1 ball and 2 strikes.
Great hair, too.
Former Masson colleague, now with the Blue Jays. Great hair.
He does. He gets some of the best hair in the biz. 1-1 pitch. Great sinker on the outer half. All right, now make a pitch right here and keep it 4-3. Ooh, nice try.
He had Cabrera moving his feet.
This is a sinker right at the hip. But Cabrera tries to get it back over the plate. Look pretty good. I was thinking caramel nips. I like those little hard candies. You get a bad voice. It's a hard candy. Syrupy. It's good tasting.
That sounds like a Dibble home remedy to me. Chipper Jones still at second base. Set up this inning with a double after Prado's base hit. Prado scored on the grounder by Gloss. 3-2. And a little pop-up on the infield for Ian Desmond. Adelano's been battling. He gets through 5. Kennedy, Zimmerman, and Dunn coming up. city in the world more beautiful than our nation's capital, all lit up at night? I think not. Bottom of the fifth coming up. And Rob Dibble, you had a very special day today with Josh Willingham.
Well, and you know, Bob, that not only the Nationals, but Masson and yourself and Debbie, we try to support the troops as much as possible. And today we're allowed, myself and Josh Willingham, to go over to the National Naval Medical Center in Bethesda and visit some wounded Marines. And they try to get them quickly from the battlefield right there to the medical center, give them the best treatment they can. And so it was it's such a wonderful time to go over there, not only to show your support, but also thank them for their service to the country. And, I mean, they're all babies, 20 years old, 21. The first picture was a 30-year-old captain that was wounded by a sniper. And just, you go there thinking you're trying to build their morale up, and they end up building your morale because they're such wonderful guys.
Well, I echo that. We made a visit to Walter Reed last year to the rehab center there. Unbelievable, the stories you hear and the people you meet who are fighting for us. No balls and 2 strikes to Kennedy. And Tommy Hansen misses low and inside. Adam with a sacrifice bunt tonight and a fly ball to center. Ryan Zimmerman and Adam Dunn to follow here in the bottom of the 5th inning.
And to finish on that, too, then they come here when they're at Walter Reed rehabbing, and they're welcomed with open arms by the Nationals and recognized 81 times a year during the 3rd inning. So it's one of the best parts about our job right here. And there's Josh Willingham. And they love talking baseball with you. It's just amazing.
2-2, and Kennedy pulls it away foul.
You want to talk about humbling a young Marine, 20 years old, part of his lower leg taken off, and didn't want to be laying in bed when we took a picture with him, so he jumps up out of bed on one leg, and he's standing between the hammer and I. And so you want to be humbled. Those Marines are just tough as nails. So are all of our servicemen and women. And that young man right there next to the hammer, he was just up here in the press box. So he had a wound to one of his feet. They were able to save his leg. And then things they can do now with modern medicine is just amazing.
2 balls and 2 strikes to Kennedy. Adam with a great at bat. Serves one out into left center field. He'll make the turn and stop with big boppers coming up. And the Nationals have their 8th base hit of the night. Let's have a look at a Cabot Woodstein legendary performance. Cy Young on May 5th, 1904, only 106 years ago. Throws the first perfect game since they moved the mound back to 60 feet 6 inches. They moved it back about 5 feet. And I, for one, cannot imagine facing Rob Dibble standing with a baseball 55 feet in front of me.
Man, maybe I would have stayed in the big leagues a few more years.
I think you would.
How about what was it, 68? They changed the mound from 15 inches high to 10 because Bob Gibson was so amazing.
Well, it wasn't just him.
Well, it was all of the pitchers.
The ERAs all around baseball were ridiculous that year.
And there you see Tommy Hansen on the right side of the rubber.
Here's Ryan Zimmerman, 0 for 1 with a sacrifice fly, tying runs aboard here in the 5th.
Well, that's a very imposing 6'6" guy that throws 95 on the right side of the rubber, looking at Ryan Zimmerman.
Hey, how'd you like to stand 55 feet from Josh Johnson?
I would.
Or Randy Johnson.
Or Randy Johnson. Or how about Nolan Ryan? I had to face Nolan in my career and hit off of him and sacrifice bunt, and it was no fun. No, but you know what? And the thing about the big league hitters, there's no fear. Got a chance to meet with Billy Wagner, one of my favorite baseball people and friends, who has said that at the end of the season he is going to hang it up. But we talked about he was hitting the head. Threw it 100 miles an hour. It was hit back at him by Kelly Stinnett, and it hit him in the temple. And I was actually doing a game for ESPN out in Anaheim, watching it on TV. I thought Billy was maybe killed. And he would return, come back. And he said he didn't watch it the replay of the injury until he got back to the big leagues after rehab. He thought it was an outside fastball. It was actually inside. So when he was on rehab, all he did, Bob, is throw outside fastballs, not knowing that that's not what actually came back at him. It was an inside fastball to a right-handed hitter.
0-2 to Zimmerman. Way up and in.
But you want to talk about a tough country boy from West Virginia, Billy Wagner. What a story. As a kid, broke his right arm twice.
Yeah, so he became left-handed.
Became left-handed to throw 100 miles an hour. Closing in on 400 saves, too.
You know, if he decides not to retire, maybe he could go back to right and leave that left arm to rest a few years. Ryan Zimmerman, 2 for 10 career against Tommy Hanson, who rings him up on the inside corner.
He finally got that front door breaking ball that you speak of, and didn't get to call the last at-bat. Let's go over the pitch sequence here with Tommy Hanson. Now remember, you're looking at 95, and he comes in, first pitch 95, then he throws 83 on the breaking ball, then he's going to come up and in and straighten you up and keep you on 93, and then give you the front door breaking ball at 85 and set it up perfectly with the 93 on the shoulder right under the chin. And that's what we talk about, setting up your breaking balls by pitching inside.
Adam Dunn tonight has walked for the 20th time this year. Second time up, he popped up. The shift is on. Chipper Jones out there near short. That ball bounces way out in front of home plate. Adam Kennedy had a big secondary lead, and then he had to scramble to get back into the bag. But that's good base running. That ball gets any further away, he's down to second base.
Great block by McCann right there. We talk about our guy, Von Rodriguez. Well, that's another great catch right there in Brian McCann. You lean forward, try to keep it in front of you, give up your body for the team. There you see him looking up at Adam Dunn. You trying to catch a peek back here?
Breaking ball for a strike.
Lots of big league hitters will, out of their peripheral vision, try to just catch location. They're not looking for the pitch, they're looking for location. But you don't want to get caught cheating, looking back like that. Could hurt you in the ribs.
2-1 to Dunn. Adam Kennedy 4 for 4 stealing bases this year. The Nats are second in the league in steals with 24 to the 31 of the San Diego Padres, who have a much better percentage. They've only been caught 7 times. The Nats, with Morgan nailed tonight, 12. Way inside to Dunn on another breaking ball, 3-1.
Yeah, that's a good pitch to maybe steal on if we can figure out when he's going to throw a breaking ball. Almost a 1-3 to home on that last pitch. A little bit higher leg kick, trying to get as much on the pitch as possible for Tommy Hanson. A nice move at first, though. That's how he keeps you close.
Adam Dunn takes ball 4. 2 on, 1 out. His second walk of the night. And Adam Dunn walking for the 21st time this year. If you know the best mom in Netstown, nominate her for Mom of the Game. You have until midnight tomorrow night to do it. In 300 words or less, tell us why your nominee should be featured as Mom of the Game on Sunday. Email your submission to mothers@nationals.com. Finalists receive tickets to the game Sunday, great prizes, exclusive on-field recognition. And again, you can submit that until midnight tomorrow night. Only the second walk issued by Tommy Hanson tonight, both of them to Adam Dunn. That'll bring up Pudge Rodriguez. This might be time for one of his patented base hits to right field or right center against a very tough pitcher. He dumped a double down the first baseline, first time up, struck out in the third. And Adam Kennedy would have stolen third. He will score on a base hit by Rodriguez. How about that for a hit and run? And Pudge Rodriguez has his 12th multi-hit game of the year. And he drives in his 11th run. This game is tied.
Well, nothing but veterans out here. Obviously, Adam Kennedy noticed something about the one look from Tommy Hanson. One look and go. It was going, and he can walk home from there. Adam Dunn goes to second, but
thank goodness the ball didn't hit him in the foot when he was running to third.
I'm telling you, I mean, it just, everything worked perfectly in that play, and Roger McDowell runs out there to go, all right, we got to try to forget that, now get back in this game here with one out and not lose the lead, and it has just been back and forth, Bob.
Yeah.
You want to talk about some momentum switches today.
You know, I'm watching him go to third, and I'm thinking, don't swing. He's got the base stolen, and then Pudge gets a base hit to drive him in.
Well, and if he pops it up, he's dead out of second base. So
here's Willie Harris, who's 1 for 2. Willie, a former Brave, at one time one of Bobby Cox's favorite utility guys.
Well, we talk about always ready. Willie brings his A game anytime he's at the park, whether he's starting or inserted later in the game.
Willie hit .270 for the Braves in 07, the year before he signed with the Nats as a free agent the following December. He had 20 doubles and 8 triples that year and stole 17 bases. One pitch, fastball up and away. So with one out, Adam Dunn, who walked, is at second. But Rodriguez, delivering another 2-hit night, is behind him. And Willie Harris pulled a base hit to right field his last time up. 4 runs on 9 hits for the Nats. And that's up and away, ball 3. You saw Chris Medlin warming in the bullpen. The Braves sent Jair Jurgens to the minor leagues today and brought up a reliever, Craig Kimbrell. And the hole in the rotation could be filled by Chris Medlin for Bobby Cox when that turn comes around again. Jurgens off to a really bad start. 3-1 to Willie. And he pops it up into short center for Nate McLouth. Pardon me, didn't even get that far. Infante.
Yeah, off the end of the bat. And Bob, you know, on the Milton Bradley front, he has asked the Seattle Mariners management to help in dealing with personal issues. So not only did he leave the game last night, pack up his stuff and go home, he's got some other things to deal with right now. And right there, that just shows Tommy Hanson. He's pushing 90 pitches right now in the game, and that's a lot of patience on our hitter's part, but he still makes a great pitch against Willie Harris. Nice to deal with a guy he's already given up a home run to in Ian Desmond.
Desmond 1 for 2, goes up hacking. And that one hit, a leadoff shot into the bullpen. Back in the second.
Well, it was a fastball up in the zone. Get the bat head out early, and he hits that a long way. So the first pitch this at bat, he got an 86-mile-an-hour slider and fouled it back.
No balls and 1 strike. Desmond might have broken his bat on a bouncer to Omar Infante. The Nats get a run to tie the game. They've stranded 6. It's 4-4 into the 6th. They've been up out of their seats many times tonight. So much going on in this game. Time now for our AFCEA sideline report with Debbie Taylor. Visit AFCEA.org, the association for IT pros. Debbie?
Well, pitching and defense go hand in hand, especially with guys like Louis Adelano who throw a lot of ground balls, and that's a good combination for Steve McCatty's pitching staff.
Right now we're not the high-powered fastball gas blowers that a lot of other guys have, so you got to pitch to your strength. We're not going to strike out a lot of people. We try to keep the walks to a minimum and get some ground balls, and that's what we are, and that's what we try to get the idea to do, and when they do it, we're successful.
And the good thing, too, is that the starters are trusting the defense, and the defense is trusting the starters, guys.
And tonight, a couple of glitches on that road with Adelano walking several. Now he gives up another leadoff hit. And this time it's Matt Diaz who doubles to the scoreboard. One, two, three, four of the first 6 innings, the Braves have had their leadoff man aboard tonight.
It's just one of those games. You got to pitch along with the game. The bullpen's been up. Tyler Walker's already thrown his own complete game down in the bullpen. It's just one of those games, Bob, where everybody's up there hacking. Matt Diaz comes up and he smacks the ball into right center field. He had not been swinging the bat really well this season, but like you said, in the first at bat, he's a much better hitter than he has shown, and that's going to do it for Mr. Adelano.
Yeah. 91 pitches unofficially, 55 in the strike zone. Is he done? He's at the bottom of the order, so a chance to get a couple of outs here. Now, Omar Infante should not be bunting.
Yeah, he's going to leave him in there.
He should not be bunting because the pitcher's on deck. Now, if you're behind, if Atlanta was behind, maybe he bunts and then they pinch hit. But Tommy Hanson is liable to stay in this game.
No, I can't blame Riggs. He's made all the right calls in the last few weeks and pretty much the entire season. And right here, it's as much a statement about leaving this guy out there to work his way out of this jam and show not only Jim and McCatty what he's made of, but his teammates. You want to be able to count on this guy for 6 or 7 strong innings every 5 days.
Well, if he can get 3 more outs, he'll have 6 innings, 3 starts in a row. This will not be a quality start by any means, but you're tied.
But see, there,
so what's the difference?
I don't see. That's where I disagree with the stat, because I do think this is a quality start. He's pitched along with the game. You're up against one of the best young pitchers in Tommy Hanson.
True. And
the game is not out of control here. You're still giving the Nationals an opportunity to win this ball game.
Yeah, I was about to say, what's the difference, 4-4 or 1-1 at the stage of the game? You're still tied.
I mean, that's the thing in the major leagues. The hitters are getting paid an awful lot of money to go up there and make contact, put the ball in play. 16 hits, 8 runs, but nobody really has the game in hand.
Now, if he walks this guy with the pitcher coming up, that's not a good thing.
Well, he may have said pitch carefully to this guy that you've already given up a home run today. And it's a pretty good sinker on the black. Probably was a strike, but we've seen Tommy Hanson not get that corner.
Four-pitch walk, 2-on, nobody out. That's walk number 5. Now Tommy Hanson can be bunting. And I think you're going to see a hard charge from the first baseman here. If he pushes a bunt at Adam Dunn, you will see him come charging like a first base rhinoceros, and Zimmerman retreating to the bag.
I don't know. Would you want Adam Dunn chasing you down?
Nope.
No.
I'd have to bunt this ball at Ryan Zimmerman.
And I'll tell you what was a funny part of batting practice today was Justin Maxwell breaking one of Adam Dunn's bats in the cage.
Oops.
Adam was not happy. Nationals might have had a play on right there, and what I mean by that is everybody looking for the bunt, and your middle infielders, it's called a wheel play. The pitcher looks in at the catcher drops the glove, and you try to pick the runner off second.
Here comes Dunn. Oh, Rodriguez making a dive and just unable to reach it.
Well, it's a breaking ball, and breaking balls are not easy to bunt, even if you can handle the bat.
With everything Pudge had going on there, he still was able to rip off the mask and get a good look at that thing. He's always been like a cat back there. And that time Hansen simply missed it.
Missed a good fastball to bunt right there, and he kind of pulled the bat and tried to help it. You got to use that bat as a shock absorber, not try to move the bat around. Move your knees. You bend your knees and go up and down, not the bat.
No balls and 2 strikes. Middle infielder's pinching again, and he lunges at it and misses it. And a really bad bunting at bat by Tommy Hansen.
I think we found the first flaw maybe in Mr. Hansen's game. I'm just kidding. He is a fabulous pitcher, but right there, he's going to try to stab at the. See how he stabbed the bat, Bob, and didn't bend the knees, and that's going to do it for Mr. Adelano. And I think that's exactly what Jim Riggleman wanted him to do: walk a guy and then get the pitcher. Now you hopefully can get some help from the bullpen.
He'll go 5 1/3. He'll walk 5, strike out 4, give up 7 hits. Nats in the game, and now it's up to the very good bullpen. Game summary after 5 1/2. Not quite. 2 more outs required for that, but with the Braves at bat here, Desmond is having another good night. Ian 1 for 3. Niger Morgan a big night. And a real battle for Luis Adelano, Rob Dibble.
Well, he had to battle all night, and he gave up some runs, but when he had to make some pitches, and we talked about this, clamping down with guys on base, Louis was up to the task. And there you see a couple of punch-outs, and then Melky Cabrera ended a big threat. And then right there getting Tommy Hansen to basically strike out, trying to bunt on a 2-strike pitch and missing. So Louis Adelano wasn't the greatest game, but I'll tell you, it was a battle for him. And he kept us in this game long enough to get the bullpen, hopefully, to bail him out here and get a couple of outs and get the offense out.
He'll learn a lesson on how to handle number 8 hitters in the National League. Justin Maxwell bats 9th and plays right field. And then moving from right to left is Roger Bernardina. So Willie Harris is out of the ball game, and the pitcher is batting 6th, and that is Sean Burnett.
And this is a former teammate battle right here. They're both Pirates together. Oh, nice pitch.
Nate McLouth from Pittsburgh in a 3-for-1 deal. June 3rd of last year. One count.
Pretty good deal, too, for the Braves. And this guy came in and he gave them a lot of home run pop in their lineup. Did a great job for them.
Yeah, hit 11 homers, 36 RBIs in the last 84 games of the year with 20 doubles. So combined last year, McLouth hit 20 homers, 70 RBIs, 27 doubles, and 19 steals. Braves sent 3 young players. Pitcher Charlie Morton, infielder Gorkis Hernandez, and a left-handed pitcher Jeff Locke to the Pirates to get him. 1 ball and 2 strikes. And Burnett runs one down and in to the left-handed batter.
I remember about 5 years ago, Gorkis Hernandez was supposed to be the young phenom of the future for the Bravos and just never really developed. And Charlie Morton, guy who's got great stuff, throws in the lower 90s, and just they didn't see him being a part of their future.
McLouth lunging for that one. Just to update a couple of ball games for you, the Phillies now lead St. Louis 3-0. And the Giants, Barry Zito still has Florida shut out as it's the top of the 8th, 3-0 down there. Nate McLouth having a nightmare this year with runners on base. Shane Victorino, by the way, has added a home run in that Philadelphia game. 2 balls, 2 strikes. So the little guys for the Phillies, Polanco and Victorino, have homered tonight. One of the league's hottest hitters, Martin Prado. The Nats don't want to face him with the bases loaded. Foul tip, and it gets to the ground.
Pudge couldn't squeeze it. How old do you think Pudge plays at? About 18, 20 years old?
No, I'm thinking he's playing about 26.
Oh, my goodness. He is amazing back there. He loves to play this game.
3-2 pitch. That's trouble if fair. It's both. Diaz scoring. Infante to third. And the Braves take the lead 5-4 on a broken bat flare for Nate McLouth's 5th RBI and his first hit of the year with runners in scoring position.
Well, it's a good pitch on the inner half, but too high in the zone. You saw where Pudge wanted it. And even though it broke his bat, sometimes guys just muscle the ball out of there. And McLouth, as you said, first hit with runners in scoring position. Couldn't have come at a worse time for the Nationals. But game's not out of hand here. You still need to finish this inning off. Try to keep the damage to a minimum.
Still only 1 out. And Burnett misses away to Prado, who's doubled and singled, scoring 2 runs tonight. Chipper Jones coming alive. He's on deck. And Chipper has 4 hits and 2 walks in this series after coming to town 0 for his last 14. Off speed 2-0. The Braves have only been scoreless in 2 half innings tonight. The Nats have only gone 2 half innings without scoring. It's been that kind of ball game. And as Rob described it earlier, the pendulum swinging back to Atlanta. A 2-0 count here. This is danger. And Chipper Jones might be batting with the bases loaded. The Nats could leave Burnett in and make Chipper bat right side, where he's had only 23 at bats this year. Fastball in there. You can almost throw out the numbers, though, when Chipper gets up there with men on base. By the way, Tyler Walker's probably now thrown 4 innings in the bullpen tonight. Little chopper. Desmond, bare hand, thought about throwing home. He made the right decision, and the Braves lead 6-4. How about him coming in from shortstop and making a barehanded play? Guys just don't do that.
No. I can't recall, other than maybe Omar Vizquel barehanding a ball at shortstop and firing it. And I don't know if it took as H.H. Gregg right there on the Exmo. Look at him. Catches it like a glove. He's got some big old mitts on him and throws it over to Adam Dunn. So that was a terrific, just a instinctive play right there. I don't think you'd draw that up on paper and say, hey, go out there and barehand the ball like that.
Now they'll walk Chipper and take their chances lefty-lefty on Brian McCann. So all the runs now charged to Luis Adelano. Book closed on him. 5 1/3, 6 runs, 7 hits, 5 walks, 4 strikeouts. It's all in the preparation at Chili's. You can win a VIP baseball trip. Log on. And here's Brian McCann, who's 0 for 2 with a walk tonight. Braves have scored twice. They have runners at the corners with 2 outs. Semi-shift on with Desmond up the middle, but still on the shortstop side of second base. Kennedy in a pull position. Zimmerman stays home near third. McCann 2 hits, an RBI, and a walk last night. A walk tonight. Very late for that Sean Burnett offering. Quickly the count goes 0-2. Nate McLouth, the big hit of the inning, the bloop double. And Chipper Jones walked intentionally. He waves at a curveball way outside. So the Braves pick up a couple. Long way to go. Atlanta now leads 6-4. Shirt from years gone by here in our nation's capital. 6-4. Braves on top of the Nationals. Offense getting back to work. I guess the question now for Atlanta is, how long does Tommy Hanson stay in this game? Because the Nats have done pretty well offensively against him.
Well, I think it'll be a pretty short leash by Bobby Cox. I mean, he's up to 91 pitches. It looks like he's kind of labored through the first 6 innings of this ballgame. So it's a question of, all right, how much longer are you going to go with this guy? We really need this ballgame. We've been playing poorly. The guys are finally starting to step up with their bats, and now you really need a bullpen, and the Braves bullpen has not been that good. So it's a question of, you know what, Tommy Hanson's been dealing, but we don't want to keep this guy out there for 120 pitches. We need him for the next start. They just sent Jair Jurgens down to the minor leagues, so they've got their own pitching problems right now.
And remember that stat we gave you earlier about the Braves bullpen on the road with a very high ERA this year. Bernardina, Maxwell, and Morgan And Roger Bernardino will fly to center. These are the kind of hitters the Nats need the ball on the ground or on line drives. Bernardino 1 for 3, and Justin Maxwell now will bat for the first time.
Yeah, you need a guy to kind of be a slasher right there. This is your big power guy that you don't mind him swinging from the heels to try to take one deep. But it would have been nice for Bernardino to get on in front of Maxwell.
Justin Maxwell, 4 for 24 on the year with a homer, 3 RBIs. I think a real interesting question to ask is, 1 month from today, who will the right fielder be?
Well, nobody has really stepped up and taken the job.
Yeah.
And I know that they're probably not looking at to go get a Jermaine Dye or somebody like that. You would love a guy from within the organization to do that. But if you continue to play well and continue to win games and hang around first place, the longer you do that, the more you may be in need of a right fielder down the line. You can't just have a guy with speed and defense and, we're getting no power numbers and no overall good numbers from right field. There's Willie Taveras down in the corner of the dugout. You see Christian Guzman getting a night off.
Yeah, we were talking about Michael Burgess last night, but he's at single A, playing down in Potomac right now, hitting around 290. So he's a ways away. Who's going to take charge? 2-2 to Maxwell, who's been more selective lately. And he gets punched out there on a nasty fastball. 96 on the outside corner.
Nigel Morgan, Bob, having a tremendous night at the plate. Started off the game with a double. Scored an early run for us. Would have probably been another triple. A little bit later, an RBI double right there. A big hit in the ball game, bringing in Roger Bernardino. And then getting a jam shot single right there. Getting himself back on base. So Nigel Morgan is just getting it done at the plate tonight. And going for the 4 for 4. Little bunt action. Test chipper like he did last night for a single.
Trying to get a base hit that would get him up to the 300 mark. And a 1-0 pitch. It's going to go foul. Nigel Morgan came into this game hitting .318 over the last week and a half, elevating his batting average to .273. So tonight he goes 3 for 3 and he's hitting .394. And right back here tomorrow night, Tim Hudson 2-1 with a 2.87 ERA, and Scott Olson 2-1 with a 4.35 ERA for the Nats. And a 2-hopper right at Martin Prado. 2 down. Pardon me, that's it here in the 6th. So 3 scat backs, fly ball, strikeout, and a grounder. just like that mobile up there. Runners all over the bases tonight for both ball clubs. And our next TV game will be 7 o'clock, Mass in HD. Tim Hudson getting it back, 2-1, good ERA under 2.9. He's 8-1 career against Washington with a 1.55 ERA. And then Scott Olson won his last start at Florida, didn't give the Marlins any runs over 6 innings last Friday night. And he's 2-1 with a 4.35 ERA. We'll get you going at 6:30. Nats Extra, presented by your Washington Ford dealers.
Well, Bob, we talked about right field here for the Nationals. And coming into tonight, 86 at-bats in 26 games, a 151 average, 3 home runs and 13 driven in, and a 292 on-base percentage. And by far, the worst other than the pitcher. I mean, you're talking center field position. Niger obviously hitting 271, 284 from left field. And a lot more production and runs scored. So the right field is really the one weak spot in our lineup offensively.
And that's a spot you normally associate with power and run production.
It's there for the taking, like you said. Anybody wants it, it's there.
Tyler Walker into the ball game here in the top of the 7th to face Troy Gloss. And back by the screen, it stays in, and Pudge Rodriguez never giving up on that ball, playing the English, and it came right back in for him. Tonight's copyrighted telecast presented by authority of the Washington Nationals and may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form. And the accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without the express written consent of the Washington Nationals.
I want to give you some numbers from other players. Let's just give you Andre Ethier, 369 homers, 26 driven in. Jason Worth, 348, 4 homers, 18, but we know he can drive in 100 plus and get about 40 home runs. Even Fukudome with the Cubs, 338, 5 home runs, 17 driven in. Shin-Soo Choo from the Cleveland Indians, 4 homers, 18, 307 average.
So I think what your point is, with any production whatsoever, the Nationals would be a lot higher than 13th in the league in runs, 14th in homers, and 10th in batting average.
Well, even Hayward, who's out of the lineup now, 8 homers, 24 driven in, as a 20-year-old rookie in the major leagues. Yeah. I mean, he's hitting 290, got tons of home run potential every time he steps to the plate. You at least want that guy to be a force to be reckoned with in the lineup. Even if he takes an 0 for 4, you want him to be recognized as one of your power threats.
1 ball and 2 strikes to Melky Cabrera. 0 for 2 tonight. 0 for 6 in the series. If you weren't with us in the early innings, Jason Hayward, after lining out hard to Desmond in the 2nd inning, left the game with a strained groin. Day-to-day, but the Braves are without him for most of this game. And this one popped up into center. Niger Morgan coming in. And 2 quick outs for Tyler Walker, who's happy to finally be facing some live hitters after pitching about 2 hours off and on in the bullpen tonight.
Well, shadow pitching in the bullpen is no fun, and Tyler Walker threw his own game down in the bullpen, but sometimes that happens. And as a reliever, a lot of times, guy gets up 3 times, you don't get him in the game, usually you shut him down. Might even get the next day off, but with Tyler Walker and Miguel Batista doing some yeoman's work out of our bullpen, saving the bullpen at times this year, going 3, 4, 5 innings, and it's not the prettiest job on the team, but it's necessary.
Here's Matt Diaz, 1 for 3 with a double last time. Fastball up. Remember last night, Matt Capps got up, sat down, and then got back up? I asked him today, when you got back up, how many pitches did it take you to get ready to come in the game? He said 5 or 6. I get 8 out there. He was fine. To which Sean Burnett replied, standing nearby, isn't adrenaline a lovely thing? Because, he was up and he was geared to come in the ball game.
Well, once you get loose, the 8 you get in the game should be enough. And for Matt Capps, I mean, he's been around enough. But like Sean Burnett said, once that adrenaline pumps through your veins, it's not going to take much for you to get loose. Plus the weather, Bob. The weather's beautiful. Other than Chicago. But even in Chicago, you should be able to get a lather going get ready and stand up there. You don't want to waste too many in the bullpen, though. You want your best stuff, the 100% throws, to be out there on the field.
Matt, of course, played in that East Cobb League down in the Atlanta area. He was telling me about the fields they got to play on. He said it looked just like this, pointing to the Major League field.
Now, I know Ty Cobb was the Georgia Peach. Is it the Cobb League because of Ty Cobb?
Could be. Well, I think that's the name of the county where they play.
Cobb County?
Yeah. 1, 2, 3 in the 7th. Time to stretch. Kennedy, Zimmerman, and Dunn. The Nats down by 2. Can get right back into this one. Kennedy, Zimmerman, and Dunn. One of the reasons the Nats are where they are, Rob, has been the remarkable work of Livan Hernandez starting in that day game at Citi Field almost a month ago.
He has been tremendous, and, he goes out there, and he is a pitcher's pitcher. He can't overpower you with stuff, but he can definitely hit the spots and get you out with off speed and changing speeds, adding, subtracting, breaking balls, fastballs, pitching in, out, up, down. He's been wonderful to watch. There's some of the numbers. Wins tied for 3rd, ERA 2nd. Under 1 is just amazing. 6th, 9th, and then obviously he has to work the hitters a little bit more than most guys. So he's right up there 15th. Didn't even know if they were going to bring Livan back when spring training started this year, Bob.
And some other ball clubs might be kicking themselves. But maybe this is the right place for him, and that's why he's pitched so well. There's Peter Moylan, who has that exaggerated side-winding delivery. And Tommy Hanson goes 6 innings, gives up 4 runs on 9 hits, couple of walks, 5 strikeouts, 1 home run, 101 pitches, 66 strikes. So the Braves didn't want to stretch him out any more on this long evening.
Well, they traded Javi Vasquez to get Melky Cabrera in here. And they just sent Jair Jurgens down, but he's not right. He hasn't been right since spring training. Had an injury, and so they're down a couple of pitchers right now. They can't afford for Tommy Hanson, the 23-year-old, to go down with any kind of injury or be sore.
And by the way, this is the 4th time this year Hanson's thrown as many as 100 pitches, but he's never gone over 102. So he was right tonight at his limit. Adam Kennedy takes a strike in the 7th inning. The bottom portion is underway. Peter Moylan, 87 games last year for the Braves. 6 wins, a 2.84 ERA. You look at his numbers, you'd think he's a left-hander. 87 appearances, but he only pitched 73 innings.
Well,
that delivery,
situational guy, yeah.
Yeah, he can get left-handers out because nothing he throws is straight.
And everything's moving away from the lefties.
Just like that. Adam Kennedy bid on it, 1 ball and 2 strikes.
Well, just imagine a guy that throws a sinker and the ball's riding away from you. Now imagine a guy who undercuts it and sinks it at the same time. It's really got a big tail on it.
By the way, those 87 games, 2nd in the major leagues last year. 1 and 2 to Kennedy. Adam fighting for survival now.
When you see Adam Kennedy, too, lean over the plate a little bit more than he might normally do against a right-handed guy that might throw one up and in on him. Might be perfect for Zim, though. Maybe even a chance for Willingham to come out of the dugout and get an inside fastball.
Wait till Zimmerman comes up. I have an amazing stat for you.
Look out. You see Mike Rizzo, the vice president and general manager, directly behind the head of Ryan Zimmerman.
One ball and 2 strikes. Kennedy 1 for 2 with a sacrifice, a single, and a run scored.
Look out. It's going for our dugout now.
Most of the dugouts now have the rails and the screens in front of them. Most of the old AstroTurf fields had open dugouts, and you talk about guys scrambling.
Yes. Well, the Astrodome, you were actually on the playing surface, on the floor, basically.
Yeah.
So you were sitting basically with your chair on the field.
Pittsburgh was like that. 3 Rivers. Way inside, 2-2.
The funny thing was when you walked back at the Astrodome, sitting down, there was just a little covering on the dugout. The hitters could look directly into the first few rows in the stands, have conversations with the fans. Sometimes it turned ugly.
2-2 to Kennedy. Quite a battle here. 8 pitches so far. Phillies now bottom of the 8th, leading St. Louis 4-0. Brilliant game by Kyle Kendrick tonight. Top of the 9th at Florida, Giants 3, Marlins 1. 2-2 pitch. Kennedy up the middle, but that's where they have him played. Infante from way up the middle with a very nice play. Hey, Rob, you know when's the last time Peter Moylan gave up a home run? Opening night of this ballpark 2 years ago, when Ryan Zimmerman hit the walk-off home run. He has not given up a home run in 2 years.
Well, pitchers never forget some of their worst moments, so I'm sure Moylan's thinking about it. Don't throw that pitch to this guy. We don't want to lose another one.
Zimmerman 0 for 2 with a pair of strikeouts against Tommy Hanson tonight. A sac fly in the first. And Moylan pulls one on him. 80 miles an hour, first strike. 73 innings without a home run last year. Now we must note that Moylan only pitched 6 innings all of 08 because he got hurt. So really it's more of a 1-year streak in terms of innings and all that than a 2-year streak. But that's really amazing when you think about it. 2 years and over a month ago, the last time somebody went deep against this guy. One ball, one strike. Hard hit out to short. Infante is going to gobble that thing up. The way he's hitting and fielding, they're not losing a whole lot without Yunel Escobar right now. All right, analyze this.
H.H. Gregg on the Exmo right here, and underhand is actually the body's natural motion. So for Moylan, he's doing something that nature intended him to do. It's not going to put a lot of stress on his arm. You see the rotation of the arm socket, and he gets a lot of great rotation on the ball, going away from lefties and in on the ankles of a right-handed hitter. And you see it go away from Dunn.
Adam 0 for 1 with a pair of walks tonight.
More of a sidearm delivery, and anybody who knows Chad Bradford or Kent Colby, that is a knuckle scraping the dirt underhand. Not many guys can do that.
You know, I've always thought that if the mound didn't go downhill, Chad Bradford would hit the ground when he delivers the ball.
Absolutely.
If he was throwing on flat ground, I don't see how he would do it.
It's almost impossible to do. I mean, it's almost like you're playing bocce or something.
1-1 to Dunn, who takes the fastball away.
You know, we always brought guys into minor league camp and big league camp, Bob, that threw like that. But the one problem is with left-handers hitting off a right-handed guy like that, sometimes that you're throwing it down and the ball's actually coming uphill. And the lefties crush guys. So actually Moylan throwing sidearm sinkers, much tougher to hit off of than sometimes those underhand guys.
Soft breaking ball, missing 3-1. Well, right now the Nats need base runners. Bottom of the 7th, down by 2. Pudge Rodriguez waiting. If you're keeping score, the pitcher's spot is after that. Adam takes the walk as Moylan threw him a 3-1 changeup. And Adam Dunn walks for the 3rd time tonight. Pudge has had 2 more hits.
Adelano right here, throwing a dirt, picked up by Pudge, and he throws out the base runner for the 2nd out in the 1st inning. Then a little bit later, it's a double down the right field line. And then he's going to pull one through the hole with Adam Kennedy stealing 3rd, and Bobby is just an amazing hitter. Hit it where it's pitched. It's like a magic wand in his hand.
He represents the tying run. If the inning continues, Christian Guzman waiting in the pitcher's spot. Last year, Pudge hit 10 home runs, 47 batted in combined in 93 games in Houston, 28 in Arlington. He's done everything but homer with this ball club. And Moylan had him reaching for a breaking ball, 1-1. 4 more games on the homestand. Night game tomorrow and Friday. And the Nats will have the Marlins here over the weekend. 888-632-NATS for all your ticket information. 105 game on Saturday, 135 game against the Fish on Sunday. Then a long road trip. New York, Colorado, and St. Louis for 9. Rodriguez strikes out as Moylan kept the ball away from the right-handers. Nats have stranded 7. 8th inning coming up. Braves still by 2. pass and brought to you by Hager. Established 1926. Your own great moment starts at Hager.com. Beautiful evening here at Nationals Park. Lots of offense. 17 hits, 10 runs with the Nats on the short end after the Braves picked up 2 in the 6th. Crystal clear Mass in HD tonight. Verizon Fios Nats Extra coming up. Luis Adelano's third start, not as good as the first 2. Jim Riggleman live and reaction from the Nats clubhouse. Grayson Guzman will come in and play second base, and he'll lead off in the 8th. And then Brian Bruni, pitcher, now batting second on the double switch. Boy, Rob, you just love to see him one time come in and have a real clean inning, wouldn't you?
Yeah, I mean, but he's still a work in progress. With that fastball, and that's something that Whitey Herzog, who's going in the Hall of Fame this summer, said, give me a guy that throws 95, and I'll teach him to throw strikes.
Guzman on the first one. Omar Infante is out.
Didn't say much about the breaking ball, though. Got to be able to get a breaking ball over it for you, Brian. So the more that he goes out there and the more he gets comfortable, whether it's going to be a cutter, whether it's going to be his changeup or a slider, that remains to be seen for Brian. But I know it's not that he doesn't want to be out there helping be the bridge to Clippard or helping be the bridge to Caps. I mean, he wants this job. He wants the setup role. And, you know, you can't have enough guys. I mean, Drew Storen is off in the distance, and he'll be up here shortly. You got a lot of guys that can help this club win.
Whitey Herzog, who also one day said, I see way too much salad in this clubhouse. Get some beer in here. He thought his team was a little soft that year. He said, get that stuff out of here. Old school.
I remember when Lou Piniella had enough of the weight room. Guys were getting hurt. Guys looked too pretty, you know, in their underwear. And he's like, we're getting rid of the weight room. You know, you're not playing well. Doesn't make you better baseball players. You need to stop worrying about lifting weights and looking cute. Go out there and play some baseball.
Yeah.
The old school guys, they just believe you need to do more on the field stuff. And I truly believe that too. You know, you got to throw as much as you can every day to keep that arm strong. And there's right by you
on Brooks Conrad.
Overmatches Conrad, who's been waiting around all night, Bob, just for that one at bat. And 1-2 pitch right here. Looks like a cutter.
Yep.
And see you later. He's going, hey, thanks, Mr. Cox, for that at bat. I appreciate it.
That finishes Peter Moylan on that pinch hit appearance. Going up, hacking Nate McLouth, 1 for 3 with a walk and an RBI double. Takashi Saito.
Talk about a couple of old veteran relievers with Saito and Wagner brought in this year. Replaced Mike Gonzalez and Soriano.
Takashi Saito turned 40 in February. 3 years with the Dodgers and last year with the Red Sox.
I know watching him last year, he was still throwing in the mid-90s. I mean, he's still got a great arm. And you can imagine on that Japanese professional baseball, they throw a lot of extra innings.
That ball laced into right. And right there is Justin Maxwell. 1, 2, 3 for Bruni. That's the good news. Guzman, Desmond, and Bernardina coming up. changes, and I don't know if the game's going overtime. Maybe the Nats will win it in regulation. Pudge Rodriguez, a couple of more hits tonight. Ian Desmond, a couple of homers in this series. Is the sixth inning going to be decisive when Luis Adelano started out struggling against the top of the lineup?
Well, that was the killer right there, the McLouth single that scored one, and then another run would come in right there on the ball, the fielder's choice, 6-3. So wasn't pretty. They were manufactured by the Braves, one of the worst road teams in baseball, 3-11 coming in tonight, Bob. But now we got some trouble. We got Saito and Wagner to look forward to try to do something with the last 6 outs of the ball game with.
Christian Guzman in the lineup last night, collected singles his last 2 times up, one of them an RBI.
And Saito does the hesitation move that's brought over from the Asian pitchers. Kind of a half stretch, half windup.
Guzman with a bouncer up the middle over the bag. Infante's been playing up the middle all night long. And he puts away another net here. Washington down to its final 5 outs. Let's have a look at our Ford drive of the game from your Washington Ford dealers.
The kid that has shortened up his swing, Bob.
Yes, he has.
It's to drive home the Ford drive of the game. Just keep doing it like that, Mr. Desmond, and everything will be all right. You keep making those barehanded plays. Wow.
And usually a ball is hit too hard at a shortstop to be able to make any kind of barehanded play.
Well, let's put it this way. You don't want to drop that ball. I mean, if you're going to barehand it, you better catch it and you better make the play. That little hesitation, Bob, where he got nobody on base, so he's got a little bit extra time to kind of hold his leg on the balance, kind of like a gymnast on the balance beam. But
one ball and 1 strike to Desmond. 2-hopper, tough play. Infante can't handle that one.
That's a hit. That guy can't catch every in-between hop. This is a tough play. It's smacked out in front of the plate. The in-between hop, Infante knows great speed. If I don't make a perfect catch right there, I have no shot. He's thinking, man, I got this magic glove from that genie, and it's not supposed to drop the ball. He's made some amazing plays tonight.
And a base hit for Desmond. He's 2 for 4 again tonight. And here's Bernardina taking a strike.
Now watch Saito here, Bob. He's going to speed up that little hesitation delivery. Well, we saw the hesitation with nobody on. This is a 1.07 on the delivery. So he still has a little bit of a hesitation, but it's a millisecond with a guy on first base. And as I was saying, over in Asia, I mean, I played against a lot of these guys. They would come over in the minor leagues and play us a lot in spring training. They would throw 7 innings in a spring training game and then go throw another 9 innings in the bullpen.
ball will hit to right field by Bernardina. It's off the base of the wall. Desmond coming around. He'll be held, and runners at second and third with one out as Roger Bernardina has a two-hit night. Unfortunately for the Nats, the ball hit the bottom of the wall and bounced quickly to Melky Cabrera.
Yeah, but you know what? This is one of the worst fielding teams in the National League. We got to start sending some of these guys. We're holding guys with 2 outs late in the ball game. Make Melky Cabrera make a perfect throw. Make these guys do perfect relays. We've got to put pressure on their defense.
And Josh Willingham will be the pinch hitter here in the bottom of the 8th inning.
You want to talk about shortening up on inside pitches. I think Ian Desmond taking a page out of the Hammers book.
Well, Roger Bernardina and Ian Desmond are now 8 for 16 in this series. And a big spot for Willingham. Breaking ball outside.
A lot of water being delivered out there at the bullpen. You got Tyler Clippard.
And by the way, this is Willingham batting for Maxwell, not for the pitcher. Pitcher's batting second. 1-0 to Josh. 2-0 as Saito threw one in the dirt, low and away.
I think some of our guys have never even really faced Saito that much. Josh being very patient.
Right down the middle. So Desmond singles with one out. Bernardina hammers a double off the right field wall. And it's 2-1 to Josh Willingham. He waits for one. Base hit. This game is tied. The Hammer delivers off the bench. Josh Willingham collects RBIs number 15 and 16 as the team leader.
Well, obviously, this bad breaking ball is on the inner half of the plate. That's the Hammer's sweet spot. You don't want to throw it in on Josh Willingham, and he gets 2 huge RBIs to tie the ball game. And a little wave by Adam Dunn.
Still only one out in the inning. Luis Adelano's off the hook. Tommy Hansen cannot be the winner. Six runs on 11 hits for the home team. Nigel Morgan 3 for 4. This ball is hit well to right. Back to get it, Cabrera for the second out.
What's gotten into Niger? He had an extra bowl of Wheaties today. Driving the ball with authority all day today, and now Alberto Gonzalez, Bob, his chance to be a hero.
Hitting for the pitcher. And by the way, that ball that Desmond hit, originally called a hit, has been changed to an error.
That's bad call. That's a tough in-between hop.
Totally agree with you.
And that's what Infante's trying to make that play, because he knows if he waits another hop, it goes over his head.
Alberto Gonzalez making contact lately. I heard Davey Johnson on the field today. complimenting him on his batting stroke. He's 9 for 31, hitting .290. As a pinch hitter, right. 1 for 8.
In part-time play, and that's fantastic. It is so tough. There's Davy Johnson. Davy Johnson, a heck of a player in his day.
Oh, yeah. That's a great baseball mind to have in this organization. 1-0 to Gonzalez. Nasty breaking ball. That thing looked straight until he swung.
Well, we got a lot of great guys they brought in. Ron Schuler was brought in. He helped build those White Sox teams, especially in the 90s. Roy Clark from the Braves. Probably put a lot of guys on this team out in the field.
1-1 to Gonzalez. And a good take on a sinking fastball. Nats fans would love to see Ryan Zimmerman batting in this inning. Bottom of the 8th, 2 runs in. Willingham aboard with 2 outs.
Now, this is the so-called error that I think Bob and I both agree that this should be ruled a hit.
He made a good play just to get a glove.
Exactly. He had to go for that in-between hop. He knew it, because if it takes another hop with Desmond's speed, it's an easy infield single.
And Gonzalez stays alive. Well, the Marlins got 2 runs in the bottom of the 9th. They had runners at 2nd and 3rd, and they are done. The Giants beat Florida 3-2. Phillies shut out St. Louis 4-0. And the Nats trying to pull out a win here to move into 2nd place in the East. Gonzalez got a bat on it. Prado to Infante. Washington ties it in the 8th. Prado, Jones, and McCann ahead the 9th. Best guards in the history of Maryland basketball, visiting with the longtime voice of the Terrapins, Johnny Holiday. Johnny's telling him, now Gravis, tune in tomorrow night. I'm doing play-by-play. Johnny will be replacing me for the next 4 days. Voting is open.
You're irreplaceable, Bob. He's just filling in.
Keep talking. I'm liking this. Vote. And here's the gist of what I'm trying to tell you. Vote for your favorite Nats up to 25 times. Nationals.com. Vote early, vote often, vote today. Okay, Rob, you can continue.
You can get every family member to vote 25 times for the Nats, too. No, you're irreplaceable. You weren't going to your daughter's graduation, you'd be here.
Roger Bernardina back to right field for the 9th. And Josh Willingham stays in the ballgame and plays left.
But DJ Jazzy Johnny Holiday will be sitting there for the next 4 games.
Well, I'm sure the wardrobe factor will go up. He'll be better dressed than
you. Do know he's in the Ohio Broadcasters Hall of Fame.
Yes, I do.
That's where we first met. I met Johnny years ago.
Were you playing drums for somebody?
No, I was there on other business, but that's where I met Mr. Johnny Holiday.
Here's Martin Prado, 2 for 4. Matt Capps, because it's the 9th inning and the game's tied, there's no way for the home closer to get a save. So Jim Riggleman wants his guy to get this game tied into the bottom of the 9th. And he might get a W out of it. Simply remarkable what Capps has done this year.
Well, and we're glad that Mr. Capps chose correctly and chose the Nationals over the Cubs. There was a lot of suitors out there.
Great running fastball. 1-2 to Martin Prado, with Chipper Jones and Brian McCann to follow here in the 9th.
Last pitch is just going to jam a fastball. Here it is, right into your living room. 91. Attack, attack, attack.
Right on the corner. Good breaking ball, had him reaching. Had him done on a little spinner. He'll do it himself.
Wow.
Had it all the way, right?
I don't know. He might have got a gift right there.
Yeah, but Adams got about a size 14 shoe. He got the toe to the bag.
Let's see right here. It's a tough play because Matt's over there covering. Adam thinks he's got some time. Yes, he did beat him. And like, you're right.
That was close.
I think that's a size 16. I take a size 13.
All right.
Look at that. Exmo.
Had him by a mile.
Beautiful thing.
Next up, Chipper Jones is at a perfect night, but not now. 2 hits, 2 walks. Guzman throws him out.
The Goozer.
2 down. And by the way, guess who's leading off in the bottom of the 9th?
The Goozer.
Don't worry about that. No.
Oh, yeah, Mr. Zimmerman.
Yeah.
Gentleman's in.
Braves, Nats. Top of the 9th, 6-6 game here at Nationals Park. Bob Carpenter, Rob Dibble, Debbie Taylor, our Mass and HD crew. It's been an up and down night. Right now, the pendulum swinging back to the home team. And here's Brian McCann, who's 0 for 3 with a walk. Matt Capps pitching like he's got the lead.
Well, a lot of times closers and setup guys can set the tone and try to get you psyched up for the next at bat, especially in a tie ball game.
Out of play left side, 1 ball, 1 strike. Matt Capps, a Georgia boy from a town called Douglasville. Perfect. Strike 2.
Mad capper right here after the fastballs. I'm going to take something off right here.
Wow. Levon Hernandez type swing back action. And this one punches out and McCann looking. Here come the Nats. Zimmerman. Done. Rodriguez. Bottom of the 9th coming right up.
On the ninth here at Nationals Park. Johnny Holiday and Ray Knight with you. One thing you love about Jim Riggleman, he says this team fights and scratches. They never give up. Not giving up tonight.
No, Johnny, we talked about competing. This ball club is definitely competing. Big RBIs throughout the lineup. Morgan, Bernardino, Willingham, the two big RBIs, Rodriguez early. Seemingly everybody coming through in the clutch when they need to.
We've only played 2 extra inning games this year. We don't want to play a 3rd extra inning game. Let's see if the Nationals can win it in the bottom of the ninth. Send you back up to the irreplaceable Bob Carpenter. And the best thing at XM Sirius in the morning, Rob Dibble.
Go on with it, Johnny.
Wow.
Keep talking, Johnny. We love it.
Johnny's bringing it tonight, Bob.
Here's Chris Medlin. We'll see if he's bringing it. Diminutive right-hander at 5'10", 190. 37 games, 4 starts as a rookie for the Braves last year. And he'll have to face Zimmerman, Dunn, and Rodriguez after Josh Willingham tied this game in the 8th inning.
Well, it's another momentum shift right there on the leadoff error, hit, whatever. But then Roger Bernardino makes it 2nd and 3rd. And then right there, the hammer. Hammers home the tie. Couple of RBI on that single, so he gets a little courtesy wave by Adam Dunn. Love you, man.
Here's Zimmerman. Medlin's given up 1 homer this year. Opponents hitting .262 against him. Running fastball outside. I think Zim was geared to go after the first one there, but it was too far away. Ryan 0 for 3 tonight with a sac fly, his 14th RBI. He's hit 4 homers. 10 doubles on the year. That one does catch the corner on its way back in. That ball is hit hard to right field, and it is playing deep and caught Cabrera. That's a no doubles defense, and that's exactly why you do that in the late innings. Ryan Zimmerman, a rare 0-fer tonight. And next up will be Adam Dunn. Adam Dunn, 0 for 2 career against Medlin.
Look at him on the first base side, Bob, of the rubber. He's directly in front of Adam Dunn. He's doing everything he can to make it appear that he's throwing it right at Adam. And he threw that nice moving fastball for a strike.
1-1 pitch.
Wow, that's a pretty good pitch.
Looked like Garrett Cooper was getting ready to raise the right arm, but he called it ball 2.
Well, everybody knows by reputation Adam Dunn. Here's the pitch. Going to come across the plate. Looks like a strike. But because Adam's got an excellent eye, maybe give him the benefit of the doubt.
He's already walked 3 times tonight. That's on the inside corner.
Right, and see, that is a strike, and that's a good call because even though he didn't hit the target where McCann had the glove, this is actually a bad pitch right down the middle. Watch this. Set up outside, but that is right over the heart of the plate.
Where lefties usually like them. And Dunn's going to take strike 3. Adam Dunn walks away without swinging the bat. Boy, there are times when we just want to see that big guy up hacking.
Yeah, 3 walks already coming in, and sometimes, Bob, you hit the nail on the head. You just want to see the big fella unload. And he just doesn't pull the string on that one and didn't pull the trigger.
And the thinking being that a 1-out walk to a slow base runner in the bottom of the 9th inning, it's okay. Doesn't do you a whole lot of good. We'd rather see Adam take a shot at a gap or a wall somewhere. So here's Rodriguez 0 for, first 2 reach out here in the 9th, and Pudge is 2 for 4 tonight. with a double and an RBI single.
Mullen Medlin now in the center of the rubber has moved over. So he's moving all over the rubber on different pitches, and that might be a little tip for Pudge.
0-1.
So in order to get a little extra outside, he moves an extra 6 inches, Bob, on the rubber to try to hit that outside corner there. And you see a great headshot or above shot right there down on Medlin. He's on the first base side of the rubber.
Rodriguez in the air to right. That ball's got some carry to it, but Melky Cabrera grabs it in the corner. And this ball game is going extra innings on a night when it's 6-6.
Up tight at 6 here, going to extra innings. Matt Capp still in the game. And coming up on Masson on Friday after Nat's extra post game, Steven Strasburg will make his AAA debut against the Gwinnett Braves, as he will be pitching for the Syracuse Chiefs. My partner Bob Carpenter is back.
And happy to be here. Matt Capp's trying to hold things as they are. Extra innings this year. The Braves are 0-1 on the road, 1-1 overall. Extra innings have not been kind to the Nationals. A couple of narrow losses. Oh, 2. One of those here to the Dodgers. Troy Gloss tonight. 0 for 3 with an RBI ground ball, a walk and a run scored. That ball is hit extremely hard to left center. Willingham saves 90 feet by cutting it off.
Nice job by the hammer there.
That's the Atlanta Braves' first base hit since Nate McLouth's bloop RBI double back in the 6th.
Well, Cappers goes with the fastball, and Gloss with that long swing and long bat. And a little pinch run for him.
With Brandon Hicks, who they just called up yesterday. Good bunt laid down. A lot of things going on there. Zimmerman plays it brilliantly to Guzman. That could have easily been a bunt for a base hit. Melky Cabrera retired.
You want to talk about smooth. I mean, this is just amazing. Maybe even a late step by Zim. He gloves it. He spins and throws. Now at the same time, Dunn is kneeling right there in front. Watch this view. Dunn in front of the bag. It's thrown like a football pass to the bag by Zim. while Christian Guzman's coming across to catch it. And if this was last year, Bob, that ball be still going down the right field line. We had some guys that would get out of the way of that throw.
1 for 4, Matt Diaz. So this will be 2 of the last 3 games the Nats and the Braves have played that have gone extra innings. And we shall not talk about the one in Atlanta, although it did turn out pretty well. Diaz is going to put Atlanta on top. Hicks around third. And the Braves lead 7-6.
Diaz just smacks this ball out to right field. Bernardino will bobble it right there. He can't get it out of the glove. Has to take an extra step.
Here comes Jim Riggleman. So Matt Capps, who has not blown a save all season long, could be the losing pitcher here. Miguel Batista's throwing. Tyler Clippard is the one one reliever who hasn't even been up tonight. And he's been working a lot lately, including almost 2 innings last night.
Well, and he might have said to Matt Capps, listen, we don't want you to go to a 30-pitch inning right here and lose you for tomorrow night's ball game.
So throw strikes and make something happen here?
Try to make something happen right here. And now Billy Wagner will be ready to come in the bottom of the 10th inning.
Billy Wagner only has 2 saves so far. The Braves haven't put him in many situations in which to save games. Fastball inside corner to Omar Infante, whose 2-run homer back in the second was an early blow in this game. The Nats came back from a couple of deficits to tie it up, even take the lead at one point. But the roughest moment of the night was when the Nats gave up a 2-run homer to the 8th hitter, with the pitcher on deck back in the second. 0-2.
Give Omar a lot of credit, though. He has stepped up defensively. Yunel Escobar goes on the disabled list. He steps in there. Lifetime 266 hitters, been hitting rockets all over the place, playing some outstanding defense. It's got to make Bobby Cox very happy to see his backup shortstop do a great job like that. He's been all over the field, too.
Yes, he
second base all night.
Up the middle, Desmond's going to go to the bag and then throw for a 6-3 double play. Braves are done in the 10th, but they score a run. Guzman, Desmond, and Bernardino coming up bottom 10. far as extra innings games go. And they've already come from behind a couple of times tonight. Josh Willingham, a big blow back in the 8th.
Ian Desmond starts it off, Bob, with the little bobble by Infante. Roger Bernardina hits it off the wall. Take it, baby. The hammer. Right into left field. 2-run RBI right there. A 2-run single, I should say. And
Barakinski at first base after they ran for Troy Gloss. And Billy Wagner is on, trying to save his 3rd game of the year and the 388th of his career. He's only 2 for 3 so far. Guzman greets him with a base hit. And Christian Guzman has base hits now in 3 of his last 4 at-bats. That'll bring Ian Desmond to the plate. Do you bunt with this guy, or do you let him hack away?
I would just take the safe play here and bunt. But as well as he's swinging the bat, Billy Wagner, who's not easy to square up on, if you do catch him, you might hit a gapper and tie the score right there. I think you go for the win at home. That's my personal opinion.
The win or the tie?
Go for the win. If you can tie it up here, but you get a double with Desmond, if you go for the tie, you could be playing here all night.
Well, and the Nats are also running out of pitchers.
Right.
They have Batista. They have Clippard, who they really want to stay away from tonight. Although it looks like Tyler has started tossing out there. I think if the game's tied, the Nats may go with him and hold on to Batista. Desmond in the air, out of play right side.
I mean, he ran into one against Hansen, who's very difficult to square up home runs. Now you've got a lefty that throws hard. You got a young right-hander. I've always been taught to go for the win at home, go for the tie on the road, and since we're at home, go for the win.
Yeah, Desmond gives away a strike there.
Well, he's so geared up for 95 miles an hour that Billy Wagner, who does have a very good breaking ball, just unloaded it right there at his feet. Now you got to just battle right here. You want to talk about shortening up, just try to put it in play somewhere.
Target away. Well, that's an easy looking 95. Roger Bernardina's had a 2-hit night. Well, he should have. Well, he does. Desmond should have, but he had a hit taken away on the changed scoring play. These guys have made a big impact in this series. 7 and 8 in the lineup. Not sure how Ian even reached that one.
Staying alive.
Leadoff man aboard, tying run in the bottom of the 10th. Desmond awaiting a 2-2 pitch. In the air to right. Easy for Cabrera for the first out. Roger Bernardino will be next. He's 2 for 4. The base hit a double, 2 runs scored. Verizon Fios Nats Extra, Johnny and Ray right here at the ballpark. And the Nats are down to their final 2 outs. And Will Nieves will hit for Roger Bernardino. So Jim Riggleman will go with the right-handed hitting Nieves against the tough lefty.
Well, you like this matchup right here. If you can get a fastball away, you've got a guy who likes to hit it to right field. It kind of fits into the game plan of one Will Nieves. And maybe you can get first and third right here with 1 out, and the hammer coming up.
Catchers don't pinch hit very often. Will Nieves 0 for 1 in that department this year.
I just think it says a lot about Jim Riggleman that he thinks everybody on this team has a lot of value and can contribute to every win.
I wonder if he's playing a hunch here. He could have gone with Willie Taveras.
'96. Not only has he had his right arm broken twice in his life, he's had Tommy John surgery. He's also had some other damage fixed in his elbow. I was looking at 2 different scars on his left elbow today. And he's still, after all this time, throwing 96.
Will Nieves taking some big cuts.
He's such a great guy, too. I mean, after he had his Tommy John surgery a couple years ago with the Mets, he said, "How you feeling?" He said, "My knee's killing me. Took it out of my hamstring."
Yeah, they took the tendon from there.
They did that on Jordan Zimmerman, too. So you got to not just rehab the elbow. You got to rehab your knee and your hamstring.
No balls and 2 strikes. Breaking ball strikes him out. Nats are down to their final out. It'll be Josh Willingham.
Gotta like this matchup right here. Here's a great breaking ball, 0-2. Not even close. That's all right, Will. Right here, the hammer. You like the guy throwing 96 left-handed. The hammer, quick on the inside half. See what makes the game so great.
Did he hold? Yes, says Bill Miller.
See the plates right here. Let's see if he holds. I think so.
Willingham hits one to left, but it's right at Matt Diaz, and the Braves beat the Nationals 7-6 in 10 innings. And Washington has found one thing they cannot do this year, and that's win a ball game in extra frames. Not the only thing they haven't been able to conquer so far. Braves win at 7-6 on a night when the score went seesawing back and forth, Rob, and quite a battle by both ball clubs again.
But once again, a lot of character from the Nationals. They never quit. They're down 2 runs late in the ball game, have 5 outs left, and they just get it done and tie it up and send it to extra innings.
Nationals strand 9 base runners tonight and lose at 7-6. Join Johnny Holiday and Rob tomorrow night, MASN HD, and the rubber game of the series will get you going with Nats Extra 6:30. This has been a presentation of MASN. Stay tuned now. Verizon Fios Nats Extra coming up right now with Johnny and Ray. And from the booth, so long for just a while.